Hello! I'm running late. I got distracted talking to Zay. Okay. Where's my sound at? I think it's low. Hello, lost one. Hi. I was chilling in Zay's chat, and then I was like, oh shit, it's 8:55. I have somewhere to be. Ah. I didn't get my tracking as good as I should have. What? That's even more off. Attempt 2. That's better. Still a little... okay. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. How is Yulin doing today? I went to bed kind of early last night. And I ended up waking up at 2. That wasn't super ideal, but I knew it was going to happen. We made progress in Divinity yesterday. When I woke up at 2, I ended up doing stuff till about 5:30. And so I was like, I should go to bed again so that I'm not, like, dead tired at work. Not work. At stream tomorrow. Oh, I'm outside. That's funny. So I'm not, like, dying at stream tomorrow. So I went back to sleep. Come on, okay, just a little bit up. There we go. I went back to sleep. woke up at 8:20 because of my alarm, and it was groggy. It was like, oh, I want to go back to sleep. This is blah. But we got up, saw Zay was live, hung out there for a bit, went through some of the news. Did I not full screen this? Oops. Also, I don't think I selected that. Went through some of the news. And then ended up being late to stream. Well, technically not late, but not as prepared as I would have liked to be. That's my morning so far. This is the Sylvari starting zone. When I woke up yesterday at 2, I was like, alright, I'm gonna finish out the Char Zone. I fucking hate the Char Zone. Because in the Char Zone, I have messed up that recording 4 times and I had to have someone help me. Because this one stupid event just spawns on a bridge at the very end of it. If this was at the beginning, no biggie. I could kill it myself, then go do the video. But no, it spawns at the end, and I can't get past it without it having died recently. I'm gonna fucking lose my shit when we see it tomorrow. Oh, here's something really cool. Shin was, oh, fuck yeah. Shin was working on my model yesterday. So it has a scarf now. But it seems like there's been a mix-up in the toggles. So I'm actually using an older version of the model. But we have a fucking boy joining us today. This zone, yeah. So this is the Sylvari starting zone. The Sylvari are plant people. And that's a Sylvari. ArenaNet was so funny when they came out with the game. Because they were like, we know that Sylvari is going to be one of our most favorite races. Hi, Smug. Oh my god, that is...
Hey,
what an amazing avatar. I
interrupt. Oh.
So we've been live for like 8 minutes and it was stretches. I haven't even been awake for an hour. I did not sleep as well. I got a lot of sleep yesterday, but I guess it was just pushed back a little. So I woke up super groggy today. It's in the
was yesterday.
It's in the Sylvari starting zone. Did you ever play Guild Wars 2?
No, I've never played Guild Wars 2.
Oh,
I'm not very familiar with it personally.
So
compared to other MMOs.
They came out with 5 races. They actually haven't added any races, despite it being a game for like 8 years or something. But they came out with humans, Norn, which are just humans but 2 feet taller. They came out with Ashura, which are like, I don't know what game started, but some game was like every MMO has to have gnomes in it. And after that, every goddamn MMO has the short people. So Ashura is the one for Guild Wars 2. They made them kind of look like kind of alien-like though, and so people call them rats because they're not cute. They added Char, which is like half cat, half human. They're very they're almost like werewolves, but just with cats instead. And so People like them that either like cats, furries like them, or people that are just like, oh, werewolves are cool. These are cool.
What do you gravitate towards?
So I kind of like all of them except for Ashura. I don't find myself playing Char too much, but I do like those. The final race they added was Sylvari. And these were like kind of a mix between elves in games and like literally plant people. So they're like literally made out of like vegetation. They've got like leaves for hair. They're
Sounds
very
cool.
they're very cool. Now, they're not the first person to do this, though. Maybe the first person to make it like a playable race in a game like this. But ArenaNet was just patting themselves on the back so much. They were just like, we combined elves and plant monsters, and no one's ever done something so innovative as this before. It was just like, what? Now hold on. I think people have done this before. But yeah, the Sylvari are really... I probably... If I had to pick one, I'd pick Sylvari. That would be the thing that I'm like, this is really cool and I like it. The Sylvari have a weird society. They have like not a caste system, but they are assigned a role basically at birth, and what determines their role in society is when did they wake up. So like literally they spawn out of like pods that come out of the trees and whatnot.
Yeah.
And these pods just open up, and then they're like a full-grown adult, and they're just like, all right, I'm alive now. But their role in society depends on if they woke up during the day, during the night, sunrise, or sunset. And so, if you woke up during the day, you get like standard jobs. You're like, I don't know how to describe it. Just
Or like a farmer or something like that?
Yeah, farmer, soldier, stuff like that. If you wake up at night, you might get more, more nighttime jobs for sure, but I think they also, like, dictate your personality a little bit, so it's like, oh, you woke up at night, that means you're not very trusting of people. You're very skeptical of things. Stuff like that. It's...
Interesting.
They've got a cool culture.
Yeah.
So, a big part of the lore in Guild Wars 2, there are 6 dragons in the world. And these dragons are immensely powerful, immensely strong. They have, like, huge broods of offspring under them that basically obey them. They're so big and powerful, and they're all, like, attuned to an element. But they're so massive that they're considered like catastrophes. Now,
Okay.
at the start of Guild Wars 2, all of them are dormant. I think 1 or 2 of them start waking up in the base game. No, one of them is definitely awake, because you actually kill him at the end of the story. Here's the thing, though. They're, like, attuned to the, like, planar energy of the world. So when one dies, all that energy has to go somewhere, which usually means the other 5. And so if one dies, the other 5 get stronger. And so...
Get buffed.
Yeah, it becomes this
Question
whole...
about the dragons. Are they more, like, evil or good? Or are they more, like, kind of like a force of nature? Just kind of there?
Between evil and a force of nature.
Okay.
They're very much a force of nature. At the same time, they're like, we want the world to be back in a primal state and to kill all humanoid races. Kind of like that. So it's like technically one, but definitely the other as well. Oh, it's raining.
But
I
they're
should
not
be in
good,
rain.
that's for sure.
They're not good for sure. It should be a toggle at some point. But yeah. So the first one you kill is the Dragon of Death. Because he is, shocker, making a shit ton of zombies throughout the world. And so, like, this is the starter zone for the Sylvari. And there's actually zombies everywhere attacking him. And so, you go down, like, further and further south. There used to be this huge human nation, some, like, 50 or 100 years ago, that just got submerged into the ocean due to some calamity. This death dragon apparently went down there, was like, sweet, there's just a ton of drowned humans down here, and turned all of them into zombies. And so, when Guild Wars 2 starts, that whole, like, landmass comes back from the bottom of the ocean, and everything, it's like this cool area of, like, human society that has been covered over in aquatic life for 50 years. Like, just covered in corals and whatnot. And a ton of zombies with it that all have, like, coral coming out of their eyes and, like, for arms and shit.
Sound of it sounds cool.
The aesthetic of Guild Wars is really cool in a lot of places. So at the end of Guild Wars 2 base game, you fight and kill that death dragon. And you kind of, like, reunite the squad that fought him 5 or 10 years ago, which unites a lot of the races, because there's the 5 races I mentioned. They get together in alliance, but it's very tenuous. They kind of group together to fight this dragon initially, and then the dragon didn't die. The champions of this alliance were getting along until they didn't. And so the alliance sticks together, but then you kind of just do a lot of work to, like, bring the group back together, make the alliance strong, and yada yada. The first expansion is the plant dragon. So he comes back, and the alliance is like, alright, muster the armies, we're gonna go kill another dragon. And the plant dragon's like, well, why'd you bring my minions? That was kind of dumb of you. And the alliance is like, well, what minions? The Sylvari, one of the playable races that you've been playing with. And he just, like, snaps his fingers. And all of the Sylvari NPCs just betrayed the alliance, and, like, they were going after him in these, like, airships. And all the airships just got fucking grounded. Everything's destroyed.
That's a cool little twist.
Yeah, and so if you play through the game, if you play through this expansion, the dragon tries, like, whispering to you, but it's kind of just coming through as growling, and you're like, he's assaulting my mind. If you play through it as a Sylvari, it's just words. You can just understand him perfectly. And I think your Sylvari is also just like, he's assaulting my mind, but I actually haven't gone... No, I did go through it. I just don't remember what happened, because it's been so long. But it's this whole, like, one of the playable races betrays everybody. Because they were literally, like, created by this plant dragon. And thus he had a lot of influence over them. Yeah, that was a neat twist of, like, day 1 of the expansion. Like, quest 1 is, I own the Sylvari.
How many expansions are out so far?
So, 4, kind of. They did Heart of Thorns, and they did Path of Fire. And then, after that, they were like, okay, we need to come out with content quicker than that, because it's like 3 to 4 years per expansion. So they came out with End of Dragons. And then, actually, just a month ago, I think it was August 22nd, they came out with a 4th expansion. I'm forgetting the name of it. But it's like a smaller scale expansion. So the first 3 expansions all added an elite specialization to the classes. This one did not, but it added like a new area, bunch of cool stuff, bunch of features.
What's an elite specialization?
So there's, I think, 9 classes. And so if you play engineer, you've got the suite of engineer skills. The first elite specialization for engineer is scrapper. So the way the talents for these classes work is there are 5 trees, and you can pick 3 of them. And so I think for engineer, the trees are tools, firearms, explosives, alchemy, and inventions. And those basically...
Yeah.
all of your skills, like your utility skills, your heals, your ultimates, will fall into one of those 5 categories. And so it could be like... So if it's rocket shoes, that is affected by the invention skill tree. You pick 3 skill trees, pick different points within them, yada yada. If you get the Heart of Thorns expansion, you add the Scrapper skill tree. So this adds a 6 tree to choose from. So you can choose 3 of the 6 now. And Scrapper will give you... it'll let you use a new weapon that engineers previously couldn't use. Typically, it changes the way the class plays a bit. I think they get these cool utility moves called gyros, which are like these little just orbs that float around you that do special shit. I actually don't know what else Scrapper does, but they get access to that. You can only have 1 elite specialization, so you can't be like a Scrapper, Hollowsmith, and the other thing. Hi, Shere Khan. In the second expansion, they added Scrapper does bunk with a hammer. Yeah. In the second expansion, they added Hollowsmith. So you could drop Scrapper and get Hollowsmith, and this would give you a lot of like hard light abilities. It also gave you like a heat mechanic and like a Hollowsmith mode to go into. It was pretty cool. I think they got swords also, because engineers typically was like can only equip a gun or a rifle, and in their offhand it was a shield or a gun. I want to say that's it. Hollowsmith lets them use a sword in the main hand. And then the third one, Shere Khan will tell me what the name of the third specialization is. This one came out a year ago and lets them have a giant robot companion. Mechanist, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and so there's 9 classes. Each class has like the base version and then 3 different elite specializations. And typically the elite specializations are so strong that you want at least one of them. There's no way I could remember all of them. I played this game a lot.
No, please don't remember all of them.
I played this game a lot when it came out. I played it a lot when Path of Fire came out. At this point, Path of Fire would have come out like... Oh. I'm trying to think of like the timetable. Because... How does that work out? They didn't come out with End of Dragons a year after Path of Fire. It would have been like 4 or 5 years.
How long has the game been around?
So, it came out when Cataclysm WoW was out. This is how I time reference everything in my life, as sad as that is. When I was in freshman year of college, Wrath of the Lich King came out. And then, after that, so like my sophomore and junior year of college would have been when Guild Wars 2 came out. This would have been like 2011, 2012, around that area. So I want to say more than
Okay.
10 years.
Gotcha.
I'd really have to like check and verify. It's so weird to think like, when did this event happen? Well, let's see. I remember being in this expansion of WoW, so that would have been about this year. Just, oh god, I'm such a nerd.
I might give it a try. What is it? Is it subscription based?
No, it's free.
What?
I think.
Okay.
I think you can play the base game for free. I don't think you have to buy into it anymore. But all the expansions you'll pay for. And then there is a game shop.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of mounts and armors and sparkly effects that you can buy in that. But yeah, base game is completely free. It is a very good MMO to try out because it's easy to try. It's free.
What if I were to like get into it like today, what's some like beginner tips and tricks that you would?
Beginner tips and tricks. Questing is very weird in this game. They didn't like the idea of you go to a town, and you run around collecting all their quests, and then you go out and do them and come back to turn them in. So on the map, there's these golden hearts, and they'll be empty. And you just go to that area and do shit. Might just be killing stuff in the area. It might be like actually going and talking to somebody and being like, what do you need help with? And they're like, shit, water the crops. And so you water the crops. Once that gold heart fills up, you've unlocked a small quest vendor that sells like 2 to 3 things, and you've gotten the experience. So it's very encouraged to like literally do map exploration while leveling.
Okay.
They have a very weird leveling system. In most games, it takes you like, hi Farisu. In most games, it takes you very little time to get to like level 2, 3, and 4. To get to 10 will be like an hour. Good morning, Jewel. In Guild Wars 2, they wanted it to be consistent the whole way through. So it's going to take you like 2 to 3 hours to get to level 2. And it's going to feel a little weird when you first start. It feels great later on. Later on, you're like, I'm still leveling at the same pace, so this is nice. But like,
okay, yeah, I like that.
General tips and tricks, I mean, go for skill points. You get skill points when you level up, but there are also just some challenges on the map, I think. Actually, do you get them from leveling up? I'm actually not sure if you do. I know there are things that specifically give you skill points, though. So, like, every starter zone has a boss in it. And when that boss dies, there will be an orb that anybody can click on to get a skill point. There's also, like, 1 or 2 challenges that are like, complete this, get a skill point. Those are typically kind of hard solo, especially if you're just starting. So I would like maybe wait at those to get help or ask for help. Here's something that's really cool. So when you're playing Guild Wars 2, you get 5 weapon actions, and these are based on whatever weapon you're using. If you're using a 2-handed weapon, that dictates all 5 skills. If you're using a 1-handed weapon, let's say you're using a sword and a shield, your first 3 moves are based on the sword. Your 4th and 5th move are based on the shield. So you can kind of like mix and match weapons like that. Everybody has dual wield options. So like if you're playing a thief, you can put a sword, a dagger, or a pistol in either weapon. I really like pistol thieves. That's a fucking extremely cool aesthetic to me. You then have a healing skill, 3 utility skills, and an elite skill. Now, these are just anybody of that class can use them. but you have to like unlock them with skill points, and you have to collect skill points. I'm pretty sure you get them from leveling. I'm pretty sure you do, but you need to go and collect skill points to get these abilities. So they're gonna give you like a heal right at the start, I think. But like all of your utility skills, you're gonna have like a list of 30 abilities to choose from. And so you can kind of just read through and see what you like. I'm trying to think of anything that's like, would this be really good to know for a new player? And I'm not really thinking of anything so much as like just general tips and tricks. This is how the game plays, like core features.
Right.
You have limited character slots, but I think it's pretty easy to just make one, delete it, and make something else. You get a little bit of like D&D background when you make a character, which just dictates the story that you'll go through.
What's something that you don't like about the game? What's like maybe like a nitpick or just something you just flat out want changed?
So I hate it in games, especially MMOs, when you get to a point where people are so far ahead of you that if you took a break, it feels like you're just on a different level and you have a shit ton of catch up to do. So like in WoW, when an expansion comes out, everybody levels up through 10 levels. Hop on WoW, you. Harisu, I'm gonna start raiding as a shaman, and I'm gonna be one of the Eridar shaman. I'm actually really fucking excited for. So an expansion comes out, everybody levels through 10 levels. Everything they had before this is obsolete. It's all gone. It's effectively cosmetic at this point. And
sure.
It's like a great reset. However, in Guild Wars 2, they have a very strong focus on not doing that. So when you get to max level, if you have the gear progression goes green gear, which is like common, blue gear, which is uncommon, and then orange, which is exotic. When you get full exotic gear, that's effectively as strong as you're gonna get. So after that, there is ascended gear, which is pink, but that is only like a 2 to 3% increase per piece of gear. So if you switch from full exotic to full ascended gear, you do about 10% more damage. Exotic gear is really easy to get. If you're rich enough, you can just buy it on the auction house. Ascended gear, this will take you some time in crafting. To make full ascended would be like a month of crafting if you went hard, and probably 3 months if you were casual. That's extremely rough estimations based on like 10-year-old data. But like once you have full ascended, that's it. You've peaked. You're there. And so a new expansion comes out. All these people that have full ascended and full like enchants and like all the best setup, they might need to switch their gear around a bit. Like if they use the new specialization, they might be, instead of being power focused, they might be dot focused, which requires new gear setup. But they could also just not use the new specialization and be completely fine using the same one. And so it's like, if effectively, you could have been fully decked out in gear 10 years ago. Get the latest expansion, get on, and be just as powerful as the people that have been playing the whole time. But it also is like, if you're coming back and you don't know all the systems, you don't know how to get ascended gear, you don't know all the upgrades, it just, you come back and there's people that have everything, and they're just like, okay, thought an expansion dropped today, and, you know, these people would be maybe as strong as me. but they kind of look like they're gods already. And so they call it horizontal progression, where like you hit the ceiling really fast, and then after that all of your progression is just options horizontally. I think it has its place. I personally hate it. I personally cannot stand horizontal progression.
It does sound like it can get a little boring after a while, for sure.
There's...
Like, I like the idea how you said about, like, how you can change, like, a dot damage,
mm-hmm.
you know, kind of thing like that, but...
Yeah. There's plenty of people that like it. There's plenty of people who horizontal progression, like, totally appeals to. It's really big in PvP. In PvP, they don't want it to be gear-based, right? So you actually go into the PvP mode, and they normalize your gear. So, like, no matter what gear you're using, it's kind of just, like, nulled, and you select different gear sets in the PvP. So it's like, if you use Berserker, everybody who uses Berserker is going to have the same Berserker stats. If you use Knights, which is a very tanky one, everyone who uses Knights is going to have the same defensive capabilities, stat-wise. Which, that's really cool for PvP. You said things I complain about. I'm about to tell you one of my absolute favorite things of Guild Wars 2. They have a mode called World vs. World. So in Guild Wars 2, they always keep a number of servers that is divisible by 3. I think they have like 18 servers now, maybe 15, I could be wrong on that. But these servers are ranked in a ladder, and the brackets are in groups of 3. So let's say you're the number 1 server, the number 2, and the number 3. That is the top bracket. And so they have these World vs. World Battlegrounds, which, these World vs. World Battlegrounds, there will be 5 of them that anybody from these 3 servers can queue into. So one of them is, it's a battleground where each server has a castle at the edge, and then there is a main castle in the middle. And so 200 people from each server can queue into this. So it is a 200 versus 200 versus 200 battleground. 3 teams. Every 5 minutes, the game takes a tally of what structures you have in this battleground, and they're worth points. So if you have the castle in the middle, that's worth like 15 or 25 points. If you have the keeps, which are like the main castles, there's one pretty much right outside the spawn of each server, so like they should have their own keep. They will get less points, right? So if it's like 25, these will give 15 or 20. Then there are forts, which are just like, they've got walls, they're easily defensible, but they're small enough to be taken pretty quickly by a large enough force. These will be worth like 10. And then they have outposts, which don't have walls at all. It's literally just, they spawn resources. And these are worth 5 points. And so, over a week, they just keep track of all the points that each battleground is getting for their server. And then, if you're at the top of the 3 servers, you go up a bracket. If you're in the middle, you stay in that same spot. And if you're at the bottom, you go down a bracket. So if you were in group 7, 8, 9, if you finished at the top, you'd go to 6 and go up a bracket. If you finished 6, you would go down to 7th and go down a bracket. And they match the brackets. They reset them every week. Now, this was fantastic when the game launched, and it had like too many people playing and you queued into these. Now I don't think they have like enough players for World vs. World to like really support it in full. Because there's 5 World vs. World Battlegrounds, and so that means 1,000 people can queue for World vs. World across the 5 Battlegrounds from each server. I don't think that many people are playing World vs. World. So
question about the servers. Like,
mhm.
what do the top servers get? Do they get any like benefits, or is it just bragging rights?
Kind of bragging rights. I mean, you get bonuses to your server
Okay.
based on your performance. So like, as you get World vs. World points, your server will get stuff like more gathering bonuses, better loot drop rate, and so there's incentives to win. But if you're playing World vs. World, you're doing it because you like World vs. World. It's really fucking cool to like be running around with an army of like 60 to 80 people, and then see another army of 60 to 80 people. And then, like, everyone's like, all right, follow the commander. And the commander has, like, a mark above their head. And they're kind of, like, facing off against each other, but, like, neither's committing. But they're, like, taking pot shots at each other. You know, the rangers and the mages are shooting fireballs across at each other. And then they'll clash and they'll meet, and a bunch of people start dying, and they'll both pull off. It feels like there's a lot of, just a lot of strategy going on, and then, like, something crazy will fucking happen. So, like, there's a class called Mesmer. Their whole stick is illusions and, like, arcane magic. One of their ultimate abilities is a portal. They put a portal on the ground, and then they have 25 seconds or something to put the exit portal. So anybody that goes in the front will come out the exit portal. So what they do...
You know where this is going?
They will drop a portal and then try to flank the other group of the other raid and drop a portal behind them. They will try to stealth for this and then try to drop the exit portal. So it's really crazy when you've got 50 people fighting 50 people and then 50 people just suddenly disappear. And then they appear behind you and it's like, oh god, oh shit, they're there. That is like an outplay that kind of sets up a lot of CC and burst damage and gives the team that can pull that off a huge advantage. Now, that's like 10 years ago strategies. So now what happens is you'll see a group of 50 people, right? And you'll see them all converging. And what you'll see that like a thief will have put like an AoE stealth so that anybody goes into the smoke cloud disappears. And when you see that happening, you know they're going to try something. They're probably doing a Mesmer portal. So when you see everybody converging on one point and disappearing, everybody's going to turn around and look behind them, and they're going to scatter so they're not grouped up for AoEs and CC. But everybody coming out of the portal, they are grouped up. And as soon as you see one of them appear, everybody's ready with all of their AoE and all of their CC, all of their cooldowns. They're going to drop it right where that first guy appears, because that's the portal. You know everyone else is going to appear there. So now it's kind of hard to pull off the Mesmer portal ambush. But shit like that happens. It also gets really fun when you've got a group of 50, fighting your group of 50, they're skirmishing, and then a third group of 50 just comes over the hill and just starts running down. And then you've got 3 groups facing off. World vs. World is very much alike. It feels very grand and large scale. It feels really fucking fun. This nerd was walking along me while I was RP walking. I wish World vs. World got more support. If they actually focused their game on World vs. World, I probably wouldn't have quit Guild Wars 2 and probably played that for 10 years straight. The problem is they came out with it and they were like, this is a fun mode. We've got the tech for it, but we want to focus on like PvP arenas and PvE story. And neither of those super appealed to me. So World vs. World didn't get touched for like 6 fucking years. And then it got an update. And it has been touched for like 4 years since then. Actually, that game inspired another game, or that game mode, World vs. World, inspired another game called Crowfall. And Crowfall was supposed to be like three factions fighting each other over a long period of time. It was supposed to be like a conquest over a large map that lasts like months. And when one team won, it would kind of like
MMO?
yes, well, it was. When it came out, turns out a video game needs to have a good marketing team. And if you just don't put any money in marketing, nobody knows about your game and it fails pretty fast.
Right.
So there were people that like literally were founders of the game, you know, bought like alpha packs and whatnot. And when the game came out, they didn't even know. And
Jeez.
yeah, that's really bad when your founders don't know. And
Yeah.
it was up for a year. Apparently had a lot of other problems. And then after a year, they're just like, this shit sucks. So I think they sold it to a company, and it went down soon after that. Or it went down and then they sold it. You'd see on the subreddit though, people would like come into the subreddit and be like, "Hang on, the game came out? I was a founder.
Come out?
When? And what do you mean it's
no.
closed a week ago? Huh?" And so, absolutely tragic story there. I kept my eye on it and I was very excited, but at the same time, there was other things happening that was like extremely exciting. I think it might have been like competing with a Monster Hunter game or something. Like, if Monster Hunter Rise came out at the same time as Crowfall, I'm gonna play fucking Monster Hunter. Because Crowfall would have been like me and one other person I knew. Monster Hunter Rise was my entire fucking Steam's friends list. So, it was. They spent no money in marketing. I actually watched a video on Crowfall last night. What? Farisu, huh? What do you mean bully you? I feel like she doesn't even know me. If anything, I'll be a brat to people to get bullied. You might be waiting a long time for Risu. No, lost one. No, Farisu is a very good. That's my tank in my WoW guild. Please don't do the thing. We not only do we love Farisu, we stand Farisu here. Every now and then she'll stream Castlevania. And the first stream I ever watched of her, Tank with you is enhanced. You know, Farisu, I actually thought about. I appreciate it, awesome. I actually thought about tanking because then I can't look so fucking pathetic on the damage meter if I'm a tank. And that was originally what I was going to do in Dragonflight. I don't know. I might level up or gear up a tank just to see. I was going to be a demon hunter tank initially, and then I found out our guild already had 4 people like ready to tank. He will be broken in the process. Well, I don't want to like double up tanks. If you're a blood tank, I'm sitting there like, oh, I can't play blood, even though that was what I tanked on in Mythic Nighthold. What would I tank on? Well, let's see. I wouldn't do Druid. That leaves Demon Hunter. Ooh, I could tank on Monk. If we're both blood, it's way hotter, though. I'm not gonna disagree with that. But think about a Monk tank. I, like, come home drunk and, like, try to hit you, and it does nothing because you're a blood tank, and then you hit me way harder. That's kind of hot, right? I just love the idea of me saying that and Smug just thinking, what the fuck is Yulin talking about?
I don't know, I'm trying to decipher it.
Okay, Smug, have you ever played Stardew?
Yes.
Who did you romance? Oh my god, this fucking I hate NPCs in this game, because anytime you go somewhere, every now and then they'll have an NPC that likes to run up to you and be like, "Hey, talk to me so I can tell you what to do in this area." But when you're RP walking, it looks really weird. They like get stuck to a fixed point in front of you and just like move with you, and it's awful. Stardew. I looked at the options to romance, and I saw there was a drunkard asshole named Shane. And I was like, we're gonna marry this guy for the meme. I'm gonna fix him. And so this is me first time playing Stardew. Everyone else of my friends has played it for years. And I'm like, who did you romance? And like, oh, I went for Sebastian. Oh, I went for Leia. You know, the boring picks that everyone goes for. They're like, who'd you go for, you? And I was like, I went for Shane. I can fix him. And they were just like, oh, the drunk guy? Yeah, I can fix him. Shane is literally not a good person until you have 4 hearts. Anytime you talk to him before 4 hearts, he's just like, why are you talking to me? Go away. Who the fuck are you? No. He's literally just an asshole. And so, he's such an... he has a nice side, right? And in his storyline, when you get him to 10 hearts and do his, like, marry him and do his storyline, he quits drinking. He becomes much nicer. He gets along with you and everyone. However, when you marry someone, they get like a room added onto your house, and his room just still has a bunch of empty beer cans spilled about. And it's like, okay, story-wise, you've stopped drinking, but all the shit is still here. So it's like, I kind of wish they had updated that or something. It kind of just looks like a
reminder of the
holdover.
past.
It's weird, and it's like there's no wall between this room and the bedroom, so it's literally just like, oh, there's Shane's den of beer cans, a game console, and weights. But I had so much fun just telling people, oh yeah, I married Shane. He's getting better. He hasn't hit me in a while, and they're just like, what the fuck, you?
How you feel about that is how I feel about Lae'zel. No one likes Lae'zel in Baldur's Gate, but I just had like a really like emotional scene with her for like two play sessions back. I'm like, so glad I chose the right choice. Fucking love Lae'zel.
So she does have her following. I've actually seen a few people that are like, I really like Lae'zel, because she's people like character growth. If you've ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, a lot of people like Zuko because he goes from this angry, shithole, asshole, just horrible person, right? Like, even the nicest person... Big daddy issues. Even the nicest person to him in the world, his uncle, he's just a dick to. And by the end, he becomes such a just good person. And people really like that. And so, the worse they are at the start, there's a limit to how bad they can be, right? But the worse they are at the start, the better it is when they grow and have that character development. And so Lae'zel, she's just a product of her culture. She's just a turbo bitch. She's just mean. She's just like, grr, I fight and I fuck.
But man, does she look good while doing it.
Alright, true. But when her whole fucking world falls apart because her queen is that, for people who haven't seen it in chat yet, she really softens up and starts being like, oh, I need to like reevaluate my everything, because damn. Now, I can understand that appeal, but you gotta understand she's in the same game as Karlach. And Karlach's perfect from the start.
You want to know how her story ends? I just got her second chest upgrade.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where Lost One and I are also. I've kind of messed up the romance options.
Oh, I was watching.
with the party, I thought I was being nice to Gale. Apparently, that cut off all romance options for everyone else. With Lizelle, I was like, yeah, I'm down to fuck. It's not like I'm committing to anything. And she's like, great. I look forward to this relationship. And I was like, what? Whoa, hold on. I thought I just agreed to sex, not a fucking... God damn it. So, I've broken it off with Lizelle. I keep talking to Karlach, but she's kind of like... just wants to talk about Avernus, or just wants me to talk about Avernus. Because that's all the dialogue options I have with her. I'm like, man... I know that if I'm like, we need to get you back to Avernus, she will literally disapprove and not like that. So it's like, I was planning to fuck everybody in this playthrough. But they're being such little... apparently you're supposed to pick one and just pursue that hard. I wanted to fucking... Whatever.
I was kind of planning on the same thing, but I got, like, really attached to Lae'zel. It's like... I'm committed.
Yeah.
Speaking of companions, I actually wasn't, like, a huge fan of, like, Astarion to begin with. But without spoiling anything. I finally finished up his quest line. And... probably one of, like, my favorite quest lines in the entire game. It's crazy. It's one of those things where... I hope I'm not, like, spoiling too much. It's one of those things where even, like, the good ending is, like... kind of feels bad. So... it's really... it's really something.
Have you seen the Astarion mod that came out?
No, what is it?
So you know about Hot Squidward, right? Where,
yes.
He's all chiseled and whatnot. They did that to Astarion. They literally gave him the Squidward face of Hot Squidward and put that on Astarion.
Let's see if I can find it.
I really want to see all of their storylines. I'm kind of hoping somebody gets the idea to make a YouTube series of it and do, like, all the cinematics of the good playthrough for each origin character and all the cinematics of the bad playthrough. Because there's no way in hell I'm going to do that many playthroughs, but I want to see those. In Divinity 2, I had this problem where I wanted to see all of the origin characters' playthroughs, but it's so hard to go through Divinity 2.
Oh my fucking goodness.
You found it?
He's an actual model. Yeah. Holy fuck.
I want to see all the origin character stories, but, like, Divinity 2 is such a hard game to go through fully. Same thing with Baldur's Gate. It's just each playthrough is such a commitment that it's like,
so much.
Could I fucking do this, like, 12 plus times? I don't know.
I know I could. I'm, like, in awe. I have some friends out there that are, like, just making character after character after character after character, and I'm just like, how do you do it? How do you not, like, get, like, burnt out? There's just so much to do.
Some people just don't get burnt out on stuff.
Little envious.
Yeah.
Little envious.
I have never played Divinity 1 for Isu. An ex bought Divinity 2 for me, and then we never played it. And then I played it with a different ex after that, which X1 wasn't super happy about. Homewrecker life. I love Divinity 2. I'm at the end of a playthrough. I'm at a point where it's like, I don't want to play this for a fucking while. Holy shit, I don't want to play this game for a while.
Got near the ending of it, and I just never completed it.
Really?
I need to one of these days. Yep.
It has a
I
good
got
ending.
like into like that weird temple thing.
You are literally at the ending.
Yeah, at the end. Yep.
Do you still have that save file, or would you have to like start over?
I might have the same file. I think I have the save file.
Okay. Here's the problem I've been having with my most recent Divinity playthrough. We've got 3 undead in the party. So I was like, I know. I'm gonna go Geomancer. That way I can poison all of my party members and do a lot of healing. And also, I can poison all of the enemies and do a lot of damage. This will be great. 60% of the fucking game is immune to poison. 20% of it just heals from it. So it's like, I have these 10 poison abilities at the start of my bar. They never get fucking used. And so last night, I was just like, fuck this, I'm re-rolling. I'm just gonna hit stuff for a chunk of damage. Fuck this game.
Oh no.
Now it's
punished for creativity.
It's probably been modded. There's probably a mod out there that's like, no enemies are immune to poison because we want you to play poison, right? I always do this too. I'm pretty sure I've done this 2 or 3 times where I'm like, I want to play poison because it's a really fun aesthetic to me. And then I get into the game and I'm like, I can't fucking play poison. It's not working.
Yeah, I get you.
It's
like
when you get
dot
to use
damage
it,
in games is so
fun.
Iffy.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's like it's not optimal a lot of the times. Like, if you could just hit something really hard the first time, why not do that when you
Yeah, especially in a turn-based game like that where front-loaded damage is so strong. Because if you've got 5 enemies, and you kill one of them turn 1, you don't need as much defense to get through 4 enemies hitting you as 5 enemies. Now, you might kill them faster overall with dot damage, but removing 1 or 2 early on is just so strong. Because that's offense and defense.
Offense is truly is the best defense. Really.
Yeah. In Guild Wars 2, I mentioned condition damage. They have 2 main builds. They have crit damage, which is like, you hit the enemy, you have high crit chance, you just hit hard. And then they have condition damage, which is very much around dots. Some abilities, I think, are based on condition damage, but they don't actually do like a dot. But there's poison, there's burning. I think there's a few other things that, like, when the boss or when your target uses an ability, they take damage. That's based on condition. There's when the enemy moves, they take damage, which is based on condition damage. But bleeding and burning and poison are the 3 big ones. And so a lot of classes, I think everybody has condition options. But like, if you're a fire mage, you want to stack up your burn damage as much as possible. And it'll be like 1 thing of fire, but it keeps like adding into itself. For bleeds, it'll show you the stat count of bleeds, but each one is remembered independently. So if you do like 5 attacks, let's say your auto attack applies bleed. So like my engineer has a pistol in the main hand, each shot applies 1 stack of bleed. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They would go up to 5 stacks, and then when the first one runs out, they would go down to 4. When the second one runs out, they go down to 3. Oh, choppy audio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not like
doesn't stack.
It's not like Risk of Rain. It kind of stacks, but it's tracked independently. It's not like Risk of Rain where you put up 300 stacks of bleed, and then you can't attack for 10 seconds, and all of that falls off.
Okay.
I think it was like that initially, and then they changed it in a patch later on. But yeah, there's Divinity and Baldur's have some crazy fucking stuff you can do with builds. Guild Wars 2 also has some really crazy stuff. So like everybody can have 2 weapons, right? So if you're a warrior, you can have a great sword, a 2-handed sword, and you can have a 1-handed sword and a shield, and you can switch between those 2 weapon sets. The exception to this is engineers and elementalists. Elementalists, everybody has class actions. The elementalist class action is to choose their element. They can be fire, water, lightning, or earth. And if you're fire, let's say you're using a staff and you're fire, you have 5 fire abilities with your staff. If you change to water, all of your weapon abilities change to completely different abilities, and they're water-based. So, effectively, elementalists have 4 weapon loadouts, which would give them 20 moves just at the ready at their disposal. Engineers, they can change to like these toolkits, which they have toolkits in their healing slot, and then there's 3 utilities. So they can have up to like 25 abilities at the ready that they can switch to whenever. One of them is Flamethrower. This is why I'm going back to Guild Wars 2, because we're talking about stacking fire damage. Engineers can literally just be, I've got a big pack on my back and a flamethrower in my hand, and I just spray fire and apply fire dot to everything in front of me. Which you don't really see that too often in MMOs. They kind of seem to stick away from flamethrowers. But not Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
I need a drink. What have you got planned today, Smug?
Me? Let's see. 1, stream.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, gotta make some adult phone calls. It's really annoying, but
Blah.
needs to be done. Yeah. I actually haven't even decided what I'm gonna stream today.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest. I've been thinking about streaming a game called Sifu. You familiar with it?
I am. It's the martial arts game, right?
Yeah. It's another game that I got like really close to the finish, but I don't think I beat it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, maybe I'll play it.
Mm-hmm. People have been suggesting Sea of Stars to me.
Sea of Stars.
It's a it's an indie JRPG. Have you ever played like Golden Sun?
No.
Golden Sun was on like the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. I think the Game Boy Advance, not the original Game Boy. It kind of feels like Final Fantasy VII, but more chibi.
Yeah.
It has a really good aesthetic, and it has some really good like. It's not just turn-based. It has a really interesting like layout for the battles. And some of the attacks are really cool. My friend Lofam has been playing it, and the main character has this attack where they're like throwing out a boomerang or something, but they're bouncing it off of themselves. So like, I think it almost becomes like a little rhythm game at this point, kind of similar to like Super Mario RPG, where if you time it right, you can get like 20 hits off, and it sounds so
Portal
good.
Assassin. I'm looking at the trailer for it right now, and it looks pretty. I love the combat. I might have to give this game a try.
I don't think it's that
I don't
expensive
think I'm ready
either.
for. I don't think I'm ready for another JRPG yet right now because
They're long.
I still haven't beaten that exactly. I haven't beat Octopath Traveler 2.
Yeah.
I need to. When that first came out, I played it like heavily, and then I'm just like, this is a lot.
Yeah, it's... For me, it's one of those games that fits solidly in. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. I love seeing this game. I love the aesthetic. I love the characters. I love the combat. I'm never gonna play it. Just because, like...
Play it, yeah.
There's too many other things I want to play. and I just don't have the time. Like, if there's a multiplayer game, I would play that instantly with people. But if it's a single player game, it's like, it has to really pull me in. It has to, like, pull on nostalgia or something. It's got to be like Legend of Zelda or Tales of.
I'm kind of like that. There's some games out there where, like, I'll look at the trailer for them, and I know for a fact that I like them. Like, I'm like, this is a good game. I like it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like almost like pushed away from playing it. I kind of rather play like some kind of indie game that I really don't know about too much. Kind of, play that.
Right.
I was a huge like indie game fan. Like I switch between like, a bunch of indie games all the time. Like right now, my downloaded games list has like 152 games on it, 132. And I just switch between them. Thank goodness for pixel games.
I lived on World of Warcraft for like 13 years. Like, I didn't even consider there were other MMOs I tried. So I played Rift for a bit. I played Terra for a bit. I played Star Wars
Ripped
Old
Terra.
Republic for a bit. Blade and Soul, WildStar. But I would always come back to WoW. All of those I played for like never even a full year. Guild Wars 2 was one of them. And so once my WoW guild eventually fell apart, I had been with them for so long, I sucked at making friends. I literally didn't know how, and just lived alone, going to work, coming home, watching anime for 5 hours, and then just going to bed and repeating that for like 6 months. In that time, I got into Twitch, mostly through VRChat and watching VRChat streams. And that led me to making fucking more friends than I've ever, like, could have imagined, right? Because before it was, like, the 5 friends, maybe the 8 that I knew, and there were a few that, like, I didn't really know too well, but they were there. Especially in, like, a 20-man guild, it was like, I've got my 3 to 5, and everyone else I know their name. But getting into VRChat, it's this fucking social platform more than a game. Now I feel like I have hundreds of friends, and a lot of them have just like played a lot of co-op games on Steam. And so I think I had Steam before then. It probably had like 10 games on it, and now it's like gotten up to like 100 games. But that's like all the games on Steam, and now any of my friends that looks at it, they're like, oh my god, you have no games on Steam. What, were you repressed as a child? And I'm like, no, hold on.
Love the World of Warcraft.
I had my one, and I was happy. Although, are you happy if you're a World of Warcraft player? I don't know about that one.
Maybe. I just know if you're a Destiny 2 player, you're never happy.
So my best friend is like the biggest Destiny 2 simp. And I'm in a weird position where I don't really like shooters. I went through the story briefly with her. I'm in a weird spot where like fucking everybody hates Bungie right now. They're all so mad about Bungie. They're all so mad about how much, Bungie is asking for them to pay. I'm kind of unfamiliar with it, so I don't even know if it's rightfully so or not. But I see her, and she's playing Destiny, and I'm like, hey, why is everybody mad at Bungie? And she's just like, they need to stop playing. If you don't want to play the game, just stop playing. I don't know why they're so mad.
That's the best advice ever. Like, it's such top-notch advice. Like, it's basic, but it's such top-notch advice. Continue, please.
I think everybody's so mad at Destiny because they're so passionate about it. They really want it to be the best possible, and when it's not, it's like it's easy to walk away from a game you don't care about, right? Like if Call of Duty does some shit, I don't care at all about Call of Duty. I'm just like, whatever. I might talk about it on stream as a talking point, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, if World of Warcraft does some shit, I'm gonna talk about it a lot.
Up in arms.
I am up in arms. I might be defending them. I might be, oh, Blizzard's fucking up. I'm probably gonna be like, Blizzard's fucking up. Come on. But
to add to your point, yeah, like with the whole Call of Duty thing, you know, I'm pretty sure like most people, you know, if Call of Duty fucks up, you know, they have the sense they'll like walk away. But the thing with like Destiny 2 and, you know, World of Warcraft, I was talking to some guy for like well over an hour. I made like a video on it, and he made like a really good point of like just the game has just so many like memories with him. Like he was invited to, I think, like a raiding group or whatever. He made his like little Titan character, and he's been with him for like half a decade now or something like that. Like, there's just so much. Because you're not just walking away from a game at that point. You're walking away from friends and all that stuff. Like, people have friends that they're only friends with them on Destiny 2 or that, you know, that one game.
It's difficult to take a raid group and, like, a circle of friends all in the same direction.
Yeah.
We tried that with Star Wars.
I think for, like, MMOs.
Yeah, we tried that with Star Wars The Old Republic. And WoW has a raid group of 10. Star Wars has a raid group of 8. And so it was like, how do we take this 10 to this 8? And 2 of our people were just like, this sucks, you know, we're all having fun on WoW. We don't know how good Star Wars is going to be. I don't want to play Star Wars. And the rest of us were kind of just like, well, we need something new, so I guess this kind of works out. And we're going from 10 to 8. I look back on that and I'm like, man, that must have really fucking felt bad for those 2. And I was completely unaware of that at the time. But we ended up playing Star Wars for just a little bit. Well, they played for like 3 months. I ended up getting a super toxic girlfriend who was like, don't raid with them. And I was like, okay. Hi, Jack. Oh, shit, Aeon. This person might not even know I stream. And so, with games like that, even if the game's not fucking up, people just get really fucking dumb when they're passionate. So, like, this is why you can't stream Undertale. If you ever try to stream Undertale, people that are so passionate about it come out of the woodwork and just say the dumbest shit, and they're backseat and they're awful. Because passion just... it blinds your
logic,
your rationale, your
sensibilities.
Logic. Yeah. World of Warcraft and Pokemon are some things where, like, it used to be so good. It used to be so good. And just over the years, the company have just taken them in corporate directions. That is just so frustrating. How dare you talk about Undertale? Hi, Aeon. I want you to know real quick that I am live. Not that I need to worry about you saying anything weird, but I am live. How are you?
I'll say... oh. Oop.
Okay. To explain what's happening, I have a YouTube up on stream. And it's like walking through Tokyo, but technically it's World of Warcraft. And I am walking to. I myself am on a treadmill. So I am not, like, disconnecting. I know it looks like to a VR chat player, they just walk up and I'm, like, walking in places like, oh, is he good? I am not disconnecting.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh my god.
No, I was trying to find this.
I can't believe you. How are you?
Alright.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do anything. Totally not. See, look. See, this counts as nothing, right?
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. You're not someone that I really have to worry about doing something on stream. I just more wanted you to know I'm streaming. Because I get mad when somebody's like, we've been hanging out for 2 hours, and they're like, oh, by the way, I'm live. It's like, you didn't think to fucking tell me at the start, dude?
Oof.
I was gonna say, sup, how's it going? How's the nerd?
Good, good.
And I stand by and saying this. Episode 43.
Huh?
JoJo.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
We used to watch JoJo together, and then both of us had, like, got busy or just stopped, and... So we're, like, 3 episodes away from the end of Season 2?
3.
Is it... Oh, yeah, no, it's Season
Wait,
3. Yeah, it's with Josuke.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta finish
Yeah.
it. Y'all gotta finish it.
So-
Real good
I managed
stuff.
to make a friend group. I managed to make a new community. I also got VR.
Hell yeah!
Oh, right. I should do this.
Oh, hell yeah. I had Vive ones. I recently got
Phalanges.
these within the last... Is this in the last year?
And these are so good.
I'm not sure.
I've had these.
What did you start with? Did you start with, like, are these your first controllers? Okay. I started with Oculus controllers, and I love those. And then I had Vive ones, and I hated those. Now I have these, and they're in the middle. I really like the Oculus controllers. There's some things where I struggle where, like, sometimes I'm struggling to do a peace sign, and it feels like I really have to flex a finger to, like, get one of them fully extended. Bye, Lost One.
I actually have to. Oh, wait. When it's lost one. Oh, is it the one with the underscores?
Yes. Yes. That's just
Oh.
a chat. The only ones here are us 3.
Ah. I'm just like, I see a Uland.
Yeah.
All right, time to click request. I haven't even done it in how many years?
You're braver than most. A lot of people be like, oh, I haven't talked to them in too long. I don't want to bother them. I'm definitely like that. But I'm happy to see you.
No, I mean, I'm more of click. All right, time to wait.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you why people aren't brave about that. I remember it was about like a year or something. I was fairly new to VR chat at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't talk with this person for like a year. And I joined them in this world actually. And I was like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. How you been? First thing she says to me is, what do you mean? It's only been like a year. I'm like,
What?
okay.
Was
All
she
right.
like?
Must work.
Was she being silly with that
Yeah, like,
response? Because I feel like in
She
any
was being
normal person.
straight up serious.
Oh my god.
She was straight up serious. I could tell you, it shut me the fuck up. I was so like confused at the time. I'm like, is a year not long to people? Like, it got
I
me,
feel
let's
like
see, am I normal?
she's weird.
Yeah, no, she's definitely the weird one.
And also, hold on.
Yeah.
There we go. Just double checking on my foot to see if it dried up.
Mm-hmm.
Nutshell, injured.
Wait. Your foot dried up, huh?
No. I have a slight injury on my foot. Ingrown toenail. Trying to make it heal, so I am disinfecting it right now before I can put a
see.
Neosporin band-aid on it.
I see. That doesn't sound fun at all.
I can walk normally now. I just can't run, or else it'll worsen. But
Right.
right now, I'm more relaxing finally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I gotta relax or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, fun fact, I've been like walking right beside you.
I've noticed.
Not on a treadmill, but I'm like
At the very
lifting my
least,
feet
you're
up, walking in
swaying.
place.
And I'm like, I wonder how long he's gonna keep that up.
See, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I put on a lot of weight in the pandemic with the lockdowns because I wasn't walking to work anymore, and so I started streaming with the whole purpose of like losing weight on a treadmill, and we are at day 48, I think. So I've only recently started.
Still nuts though. You've been doing it every day, right?
Yeah, well, that's
48.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 48 days in a that's just the me thing. Most people, that's like insane. For me, it's easier because like when I break routines, even for like a weekend, I drop them.
No, I can definitely get the routine, making it easier on you. I like to think of it like in the terms of like working out. Like for me, if I'm like lifting, if I stop lifting, I'm like, I know I can't lift these again for a little bit. You know, so you're like that. It's like a mental version of keeping the pump going for you. I can respect that. I see it.
Yeah, I
Pumping iron.
2 years ago, I want to say, I got Ring Fit. And the most I ever did was like 5 days a week. And then like the next week I would do 4. And the next week I would do 2. And it was just like, it's just so fucking hard to keep the routine up. Damn. But I was always taking weekends
Slippery
off.
slope, yeah.
And so with this, it's just like, just fucking go. Just fucking every day. And part of it is that like having a schedule and having like people that will tune in and be like, where's stream? Where's you? And it's like a huge motivator for like, oh, I need to be there. If people will literally
definitely
be wondering where I'm, and like most of them would be like, oh yeah, you want to take a day off? In fact, most people are like, you should be taking days off. You should not be exercising every day of the week. But just, I don't know, having it be on people's minds, even a little, just helps me do it.
Absolutely. Like just putting it out into the world kind of keeps you accountable.
I haven't even started that Furisu. I want to. I have such a dumb content brain right now. I want all the bugs worked out for stream. And then I procrastinate on them because I don't know how to solve them and get nothing done. But I'm in like...
Does this also include...
What?
I'm thought process. So, emotes win.
I have no idea what you just said.
Emotes win.
So
also,
those...
it does not help. I'm hearing birds outside.
Those have been commissioned. With... Yeah. So with emotes, I wanted a very specific artist / friend to do them. And they've been like, because I'd wanted to start streaming for like a year, but because of life stuff going on, I couldn't. I was always like, when I can do emotes, this is who I'm talking to. And then when I started, I was like, it's time. I need emotes. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I have a really full queue right now. And I was just like, how long do I gotta wait? Because I'll fucking wait for them. So technically, I probably could have had them like beforehand, but mid-September. So she's gonna start working on them soon.
Nice.
And then Jack is working on the subscriber badge. I've seen him work on it a bit in stream. Welcome back, Shirkan. Sorry about your meeting.
Also, this is entertaining of you just walking. Like the both of you.
So, you're actually entertaining me a little bit because when people join on me, it's kind of fun to see like what they do. Just to see like how people react to me walking in place. So Smug has been around a bit and seen me a while. He wants to like walk side by side with me. Sometimes people will like stand next to me and just like stare ahead like they're part of the walk. Sometimes people do what you do and just be like, hey, we're having a conversation. I'm going to stand in front of Yulin and talk to Yulin. It's really just funny. It's really interesting for me to see like the different things people do.
Sometimes people will float on top of your head.
I have one friend that likes to play space up and sit on top of my head.
Are they small?
They are.
Oh my. I'll do that later on. I'll be small.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good small one to use.
This one's pretty cute.
Also, this is a good morning at least.
Hell yeah.
Also me, gotta pop my arms though.
Mm-hmm.
So, nutshell, to the cons of how if I did that, the freaking arm reload.
Oh my god.
Yes, I actually do that. I literally do the arm reload for a long time. I just didn't even know that was a thing.
Hmm.
Except for me, I just do it like this. I'm just like, and I'm like, okay, there we go.
I mean, if you can do it, and especially if people can hear it, that's just fun.
Mm-hmm. That's the best part.
Mhm.
They're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." Also, I'm on a bit of a vacation
Mm.
of work, or quotations transfer. I'm waiting for a good 3 weeks for my foot to heal before I can do anything else. Cause yeah, it's been healing really slow. So I'm trying to like not get on my foot and everything. I'm more relaxing.
I haven't had a job in a year and a half. Because my industry crashed twice. And so what I was working for before, work from home, they want to pay me like 2/3 as much to live in an expensive city. And it's just like, I just can't do it. My pride cannot regress that much. Fuck these companies. So we're living on savings right now. Ha ha ha.
You'll be fine.
I will be. I will be.
Probably.
I've moved in with my parents, so my living expenses aren't exorbitant. I also have a decent amount in savings.
My only rent is pretty much paying the electricity bill.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
Also, I moved far. And let's just say a lot of things happened as well, so I moved very far.
I am I worded like that like I was going to say something about the current conversation. We're at 3 miles. That's how much we've walked today. It was something
How much do
completely
you usually walk?
So I try to do a minimum of 5, but I also try to end at good stopping points in the videos. So, one time I walked 9 miles. Usually it's like 5 to 7. What really makes it hard is if they spend bits to increase the incline. That makes it really hard.
You're used to 5 miles by now, right? Or
I am,
what?
but at the same time, like, there's some days where it's like we're at 5 miles and I'm like, oh geez, I'm tired as shit. How am I struggling with the basic 5?
Yeah, some days are definitely harder than others for sure.
Mm-hmm. We've also lost 21 pounds so far.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Like
I don't know what the goal is. We started at 205. We were down to 184 last I checked a few days ago.
Alrighty. Looking good, feeling good.
Yeah.
Vice versa. I need to lose some weight as well. I went through a really invasive surgery. Couldn't work out for like a year. Put on some pounds. Now I need to get back into it.
Yeah, I've always been really bad with consistent exercise. My saving grace was like walking to classes at college or walking to work. from my apartment. And that was barely saving me. Once that stopped, it was kind of just like, well, now you're doing absolutely nothing, so here's 20 pounds.
Yeah. Wait, you gained 20 in how long?
That was over 2 years? No, that was over 3 years. That was the 2 years of lockdown and then my first year moving in with parents. My lips are too dry to make a good pop. There we go.
Oh, wait, hold on.
What the fuck? How are you doing it that
What?
fast?
I was just about to talk about that. I know.
What?
What, that?
Yeah, what?
What?
Explain.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Got magic lips over here.
Oh,
No,
whoa.
I can tell you the trick. Magic lips. Nah, it's more of you do this. You pretty much do this. Or sometimes you have like your pinky, your ring finger, and middle finger, and then your index. You just move all of them down, then sometimes up.
Oh. I see, I see.
I'm using my index finger though. Or
Okay. I asked
I
Smoke
can
what
make
he
it
was doing
fast.
today. I never actually went over what I was doing today.
Yeah, what are you doing?
It's Tuesday, so it's a WoW reset day. So we're gonna be raiding. I'll probably be on the new character, at least for the first few bosses of it. I might switch to the other character for the later bosses. I have started a Guild Wars 2 video, but that is not even close to done because that's going to be a long one. But there's like sections that still need recording. I might try to do some of those today. I keep putting off this Antlion mod mic. I need to look at that. And I think I just need to look at my list. I don't think I'll have time for Baldur's today. Oh, Divinity. The Divinity group wanted to go again today. So I have some time for like stream stuff after I stream. And then it's like a block of Divinity and then a block of WoW.
Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Antlion mod mic is, for the VR stuff, right?
It can
So
be
they
used
don't,
for
like,
any headset, but
or something.
it just goes very well with VR headsets.
You get it off Amazon?
No,
Where'd you get
I
it?
got it off of eBay.
eBay, okay.
And then the seller didn't sell the USB stick with it, so I had to get one from there and pair it, and it wasn't charged when I paired it, so that's what I haven't. That's the step I'm at. I need to pair it now that it's charged, hoping it is charged. I'm a little afraid that the mic he sold me just doesn't hold a charge at all because he's used it so much, and so. I'm a little concerned about that, but
Give it a go.
yeah.
Also,
Because I have a Vive Pro.
Hypothetical, but...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, continue.
No, you.
Okay, hypothetical, because I had... I don't know why I thought about this. Your most played World of Warcraft character, right? How much, theoretically, would I have to pay you to delete that character? gone.
Oh
Poof.
God. So here's the thing. I have an add-on called Altaholic that tracks how much I've played each character. And my most played character is either a druid on a server I don't play anymore, a death knight on a server I don't play anymore, or a hunter on a server I don't play anymore. Basically, I have an absolute problem with re-rolling and changing characters. My most played character has about 326 days played on it,
Oof.
but I don't
Alright.
play it. And so it's one of those things where it's like, would I lose anything by deleting this? No, I would lose absolutely nothing. If it's
Like
that
you would lose a
druid.
piece of yourself, though. Probably.
See, here's the thing.
least
Anytime
I
I see the numbers, I'm like, I played that character that much. It's already gone from my memory. There's that much WoW stuff that, like, a lot of the stuff from my most played character is just forgotten. And so, like, realistically, I probably wouldn't lose that much if I deleted them. The thing I would lose the most and be sad about is the days played on them. So, like, if I deleted something that has 326 days played, that would reduce my overall days and make my WoW time look less. So I very much enjoy asking the question, what's your played time across your account, across all your characters? Because mine's fucking astronomical because I started 18 years ago. So, like,
What is yours?
I think it's like 18,500 hours, which is around 850 days, which is literally more than 2 years. And so it's one of those things where I would be sad to lose that number. That's what I would lose the most. But if there was a price tag attached to it, I might do it for like 500.
500. Theoretically, I was about to be like 10,000, but 500. Okay. All right.
I mean, I'll fucking take
Easy.
10,000, but if somebody was like 500, take it or leave it, I'd be like, $20 is $20, 500 is 500. All right, you want me to stream it? Let's go.
Could you like contact Blizzard support and be like, "Hey, deleted this on accident. Can I get it back?"
Technically, I could.
Character.
I wouldn't.
Of course.
I'm someone that's very much like, you uphold your bargains. You don't welch a bet.
Absolutely.
When you say you're gonna do something, you fucking stick to it. Which is why I almost threw up that one time when I took the incline to 12. Because, like with streamers, when they're like, oh, you met this subathon goal, we're gonna stream 24 hours. And then, like, at 18, they're like, guys, I can't do it, I gotta tap out. I'm like, you better fucking make it up to stream, because, like, they paid for this, god damn it. Now being in that position where it's like, we go 5 miles, 12 incline, I was like, there was a good 5 or 10 minutes of me just, like, literally dying and being like, I have to. They paid for it. I will not tap out. And then I was like, I gagged and almost threw up. I was like, all right, we gotta stop. I cannot just throw up on this treadmill. And
Yeah.
the people that had paid money were like, you can tap out if you want. You can tap out. And so if they had been like, I paid for it, keep going, I would have.
Right. Respectable, definitely.
It's a little toxic, because I feel like, especially with health stuff, right? Like, you definitely shouldn't hurt yourself or anything. But
Well,
I
you can take the hits.
yeah. Although the hit would have been vomit all over my knees and treadmill, so Ugh.
That's a little bit of vomit for a few satisfied fans.
I mean, so it's fucking worse on a treadmill, right? Because it's not just like the mess; it's
Yeah.
like
It
the
would, like,
whole
go in
belt.
the treads.
Ew,
Yeah.
oh god, that'd be so awful. Alright, that is the end of the second video. Let's see what we get for the third video. Zaralek Cavern. I think this one's like an hour. So this will put us at... It's probably around 5.6, 5.8. But yeah. 500 would be my price to delete my most played character. Here's the thing.
Okay.
In WoW, they let your account have 50 characters, and I have like
Oh my goodness.
40 max level characters across everything. Max level or
Dylan, you're
close to
nuts.
max level. Well, here's the thing. When I played on a server, I got one of each class. Well, not one of each class, but like one of all the classes I was interested in to max level. And then my friends, over the years, it was like, this server's dead, we're going somewhere else. Now, you can pay $25 to transfer a character. Or, I can level for a week and get a character to max, and kind of just do that when I'm not raiding. I actually kind of like leveling in WoW. And so, instead of transferring all these characters, maybe transfer the one I'm going to play if we're going right into raiding. But if it's like between expansions or between raids, I'll just level one and get it ready for the next raid. And so I've done that 5 or 6 times over the years. So I have all these characters that are like max level or close to max level. At 70, I really only have like 7 or 8 characters. But I have a lot of things at 50. Or no, I have a lot of things at 60. I have a lot of things at 45. Things that are like, I could get there in 2 to 3 days. Easy.
Suppose it's just daunting to me because I don't have like the knowledge that you have. What would take you 2 to 3 days would probably take me, I don't even know, longer, much longer.
Oh, dude.
Probably like have like the most efficient way of doing things by now.
No.
Surgical.
So it takes me like,
No?
if I were to like have all the time in the world and start from level 0 and go to 70, it would probably take me 5 days if I went hard with it. But there are people. One, you can pay people to power level you, and you will go from 0 to 70 in 3 hours. If you do it yourself, it'll probably take I think my time's on one of the faster ends, but there are people that like speed run it. There are people that like, they want to go so fucking hard, so fucking fast, to the point that they're like picking the fastest class, the race with the best racials. They have a very specific amount of like potions built up beforehand and consumables. They have the right toys favored in their thing to like speed boost them and assist them. The speed run for like a solo level 1 to 60 is like 3 hours or something, with a lot of prep work. But from making the character, the playtime will say like 3 hours, which to me that's like fucking what? And I've looked at how they do it, and I'm like, this is so much fucking effort. I'm good. I could just walk to this quest and do it. Jesus. It looks so fucking stressful when they do it. Yeah, so one of the things about these Guild Wars videos, in WoW, I have encyclopedic knowledge. I like know all the cool spots in a zone. I know where to go. In Guild Wars 2, there's a lot of zones that I've never even seen like certain parts of them, like ever. And the stuff I have seen was 5 years ago. So it's like, it's so much harder to make a route and make a video of them, because like, it feels like I'm less trying to show off all the cool stuff and more about just trying to do a route that I can do to show like the ambience and like the feel of the zone. I also can't permanent stealth in Guild Wars 2. So it's just, that alone is just like, oh my god, this is so much harder. But the lack of familiarity, I really feel it in Guild Wars 2. What are we at?
Do you like it though? The lack of familiarity,
No, I hate
like
it.
kind of just discovering stuff.
I
No?
hate
Alright.
it because a lot of it is stuff that like I've seen to some extent, right? It's not like I'm seeing this stuff for the first time. It's like I've seen it. I'm not really seeing anything too special. I'm in a lot of the older zones too, so I'm not seeing stuff that's blowing my mind, right? Like in Diablo 3, when at the end of Reaper of Souls, I don't know if you played Diablo 3. At the end of Reaper of Souls, you go through a hallway and there's this massive orb of souls that looks like a small fucking moon that you're walking up to. I remember the first time I saw that, I was just in awe. I was just like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in a video game. In Breath of the Wild, the first time you see a dragon flying through the air or coming out of the lake, it's incredible. It's like, holy shit, this is beautiful.
Absolutely.
But I'm not
Yeah.
really getting anything like that in Guild Wars 2, because one, I'm in very basic zones. I'm in like level 15 to 25 zones making these videos. And so the craziest stuff I'm seeing is like a centaur, a windmill. It's pretty. The game looks very much like an oil painting, like a watercolor oil painting. But there's nothing that's like so fantastical you'll never see it anywhere else. There are world bosses in the starter zones for Guild Wars 2, but those feel really video gamey. That feels like a mob, upscaled, a bunch of people fighting it. It's not like the dragon coming out of the lake in Breath of the Wild. Hi, Willie. Willie Fly is a friend I met playing Satisfactory with.
Oh.
He, as soon as like a friend I made playing Satisfactory with, I was like, hold on, that guy made abominations behind my back. Hang on a minute. Him and Seseldon, they like stuff that works. I like stuff that's pretty. So I was always like, let's make this pretty thing. And like, I turn around and Willie's got a bridge going through the sky. And I'm just like, we need to fix this. A lot of times it was like, I can't do this right now. I'm going to go to this side of the map.
Played a little bit of that game. I enjoyed it.
Satisfactory might be one of my top 5 played games. I have a lot of hours. Actually, no, I think it's kind of low because I haven't lost so much time in it. I think it's around 400 or 500. No, it's around 800. Welcome back, Lost One. Willie was very accommodating. Once I was like, how would you make this abomination? He was like, oh, I'll try to make it prettier. And so...
Oh, nice.
Seseldon would do it on purpose. And the worst thing was, Willie knew how to do the math of the factories. He understood you take this output, you convert it through this machine, you get this output, you get this result, right? So Willie, I didn't have to like teach him how to do the things. With Sis, I had to teach him how to build a factory because he was just like, I don't understand the numbers and it's very overwhelming to me. So it's like, okay, do this and this. And then he would like do something really ugly and I was just like, ooh, maybe you make that look pretty, right? Maybe you line up the conveyor belts. And he was just like, does this not work? Well, no, it works, but just, you know, are you saying it looks hideous? Yeah, you know what, Sis? I am saying it looks hideous. We had a lot of conversations like that. It was, good times. Our schedules were difficult, and now with me streaming, I haven't even brought up Satisfactory with them just because I feel like I'm going to be the most limiting factor for it. But Satisfactory, here's the problem with a builder game like that. It goes better when you have people that build like you. Because especially in like creation games like this, I want it done a certain way and I want it done my way. And when it's not done that way, I'm sitting there like, oh god, how could you? And so
Why do you exist?
I've played Satisfactory with people twice for like a meaningful amount of time. The first time was the first time I played, and I was learning how to play, right? The second time was with Willie and Sis, and I knew it was going to be a little bit of like stepping on each other's toes, but I still really wanted to play with them. All the other times have been solo, where everything is exactly how I want it to be. I need a drink.
I need to get one as well. Like, at a door.
Have you not had a drink this whole time? And
I have not.
go get a drink. Go get a drink.
All right. I can see it in front of me, so I got my my camera on my little device here. Let me see if I can.
You know, I think I have that. I just don't know how to like turn it on and set it up.
It's just in the settings menu. I can show you one of these days or something.
You've got a Vive Pro?
Maybe not. I have an index. Sorry.
Well, I know the Vive Pro can also do it. It's probably in a similar spot. No, I actually saw that. I looked up news stories before this, and now I'm like, shit, what were they? I have already forgotten. We already talked about the chess drama and how that got resolved. What was the other one?
Yeah.
Oh, is Burning Man. That stuff finally cleared up.
What's the deal with Burning Man?
So Burning Man is this big festival. Bunch of people go out there, do a shit ton of drugs, listen to a shit ton of music, have a good time, spread a lot of STDs. You know, fun time all around.
Wonderful. Yeah.
They go out there in the middle of the salt flats, I think, and they essentially get 3 months worth of rain in one night. Just massive flooding.
Oh no!
And so the festival actually got like partially canceled. And like they couldn't even walk around where they were because they would get stuck in the mud. I saw somebody saying,
I think I saw something about that. Yeah.
I saw somebody being like, you put trash bags over your feet so that you don't get stuck. So that there was more like contact area to prevent sinking. However, the festival ended a few days ago. They couldn't leave though, because around the festival they'd kind of packed a lot of the mud down so that they could walk around in it. But like the vehicles were stuck. They were going nowhere. And it was like, imagine walking 10 miles through a desert, right? Like, that's a fucking bad time. Imagine walking 10 miles through a desert, but it's that hot and the sun's beating down on you, but it's mud, and you are literally just through the mud the whole time. So,
no.
It was literally like they could not leave. And it was like 50,000 people out there just stuck and isolated. And so there were concerns about food. There were concerns about getting them enough water. They have since, I think they packed a road. They were able to like get it hard enough so that all the other cars could drive on it. And this morning they were able to leave. And it kind of sucked because like, it's a big open desert, right? They should be able to drive anywhere. But you just see this like 5-lane road with everybody just bumper to bumper. You heading out, Aeon?
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone for a bit.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be gone for a bit. Need to do a couple stuffs.
Okay.
Although if I disconnect, it's probably because of something. But yeah.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
I'll be back. Don't worry, I'll be back.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I think.
But yeah, so they were finally able to like go home either yesterday or this morning. I think it was this morning. But yeah, it was like 50,000 people just stuck in a desert, and if you tried to leave, you're stuck in the mud. You're just hard stuck in the mud. So those people are able to go home.
If I remember correctly, I saw a picture on Reddit when, I don't know if it was Burning Man. I think it's Burning Man when it first started. Someone got like an aerial view of it, and actually, I was like staring at it. I literally thought it was like a galaxy. Like it was like a picture of like a Milky Way galaxy. It was so like swirly and bright and all that stuff.
Yeah, so they always put the
Might have
like
been a different festival, but I'm pretty sure it's that.
Well, they always put
Beautiful.
the like the Burning Man. It's this big like figure to burn at the end of it. They always put that guy in the center, and they kind of just like circle out with the tents and whatnot. They'll have a few stage areas around it, but the center is the Burning Man. Oh yeah, the lead singer of Smash Mouth passed away yesterday.
Oh, that's why I kept seeing those memes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's awful.
Yeah, he
Rest in peace.
He was an alcoholic and had drank himself to liver failure. And so once that happened, it was a matter of time, and they'd been doing what they could to keep him going, but a few days ago they were just like, we can only do so much. He's got days to live. And so people have been posting a lot of memes about him. People have been reposting some of the like really funny Twitter moments with him, because he was fucking hilarious on Twitter. There was if you know who Shadman is, Shadman drew fan art of like a girl singing one of the Smash Mouth songs, and I'm forgetting his name. It's something Harwell. He retweeted. He was like, "This is super cool. Love to see a cool fan." And everybody's like, "Shadman's a freak. You need to like not shout that guy out." And he like he replied to his own tweet. He was just like, "Looking more into their other works, yes, they may have some issues."
Yeah.
I think there was another one. Oh yeah, DJ Khaled was like, a girl should be giving me oral, but I'll never go down on a girl because I'm the king. And the Smash Mouth guy was like, there is no king who does not serve his people. You're no true king, buddy. Somebody was like, Smash Mouth guy, I listened to your song while going down on my girl, or while getting oral, or giving oral. And he was like, and she was receiving, you were giving? And he was like, yes, sir. Good man. Just funny shit like that. I saw one meme. You know the Grim Reaper meme? Where it's like a dog goes to heaven, and the Grim Reaper holds out their hand, and they're like, was I a good boy? And they're like, no. I'm told you were the best boy. And so it's him holding his hand out, and him being like, was I a good boy? No. I'm told you were an all-star. Good night, Willie. Wonderful. Good to see you. Yeah, so that's where all the
I
music
sent you the picture that I was talking about. That shit looked like a Milky Way galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
The Burning Man Festival.
Yeah, I'm going to look at it now. If XS Overlay lets me. What the fuck is happening in this group chat? Okay. They're reposting pictures from like 2018 VR chat. Oh wow. Yeah. I see that and I instantly recognize, yep, that's Burning Man, that's the layout. But the colors is like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that in the Neat Stuff channel if you don't.
Oh. Yeah, allow me.
Hell yeah.
I don't think I've posted in there yet.
Mm.
Doo-doo.
Yeah, I'm like trying to keep some of the channels active, but like literally the only reason for that Discord is the live notifications for people that wanted them through Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Are we at 4 miles? We're at 4.4 miles.
Damn. 0.4 miles.
My legs don't feel tired at all, but my left foot, it feels like there's like a wrinkle in the sock or something, or like a seam that I've been putting weight on, and it's pushing into the foot so much that now I'm like, oh, that part of my foot hurts. Ow.
My feet, thighs, my ass, my tailbone, it all hurts. I've just been walking in place the whole time. My carpet underneath me, a little damp because of my feet.
Oh, dude, when I started walking, I gave myself blisters. Well, I almost did. I was like, oh shit, that's right, blisters are a thing. And so I started wearing 2 layers of socks. And the first layer is always kind of gross when I take them off. Add a bangers channel? Sure, why not?
A bangers?
For music.
Like songs?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like whenever someone says bangers, my mind instantly goes to bangers and mash. It's like a British thing.
You're American, aren't you?
Yeah.
Hi,
I think it's like sausage and like mashed peas or something.
What?
If I'm not mistaken.
I always assumed it was
Some
mashed
bangers and
potatoes,
mash.
because that makes sense to me, but oh my gosh.
Mashed up peas is... Love that stuff. Mushy peas, I think they call it, yeah.
You've heard some of my food takes, right?
I don't think I have.
Oh, so I am what people call a hyper taster. I can like discern super small distinctions in flavor. However, it also means most flavor is like very overwhelming to me. And so the best meal to me is buttered spaghetti. That's like my favorite meal. But not just, it has to be made a particular way. So I will cook the spaghetti, but it's too soggy right now. So I have to like put it in Tupperware, and that has to sit in the fridge for 24 hours. It has to be chilled. Then after 24 hours, I'll take a portion of it, enough for like a bowl, and I will put, I can't believe it's not butter on it. Not regular butter. Not the new formula of I can't believe it's not butter. The original formula, I can't believe it's not butter. I'll put a chunk of that on it, and then I'll microwave it for like 1 minute and 10 seconds. That will melt the butter. I can spread it around so it's covering the spaghetti. That is a perfect meal to me. That is like my favorite food. There's not a lot of flavor there for most people. But for me, I'm just like, this is peak.
Yeah.
This is the best. My mouth is so sensitive, though, to flavor that, like, carbonation is painful. So, on one hand, that's great, because it means I don't like sodas. And sodas are fucking terrible for you, right? But, but it also means, like...
Sure you're not, like, a super taster?
I mean, it's possible, right? It also means, like... I like chips and salsa, but it has to be, like, mild, at most medium salsa. And even then, I don't like the chunks. I just like literally dipping it so that the chip is wet and then eating it like that. And that I can't do that without milk. I'm like, chip and milk it. And so my sense of taste is just so high on dairy. It's so limited in the foods that I like. I like most meats. The moment you start putting like spices in the meats, I'm like, oh, I don't like this. So I don't like a lot of sausages. But I like most meats. I like a lot of breads. I like a lot of like sugary processed foods, which is like, can I be picky? But like fruits and vegetables, damn. I hate almost every fruit and veggie, which is really bad.
Not liking mangoes is like a sin to me.
Yeah.
Mango is like the perfect fruit.
So my favorite
Love mango.
salsa is mango salsa. That's about as far as I go, though. With not only am I picky with flavor though, but I'm also like super picky with textures. So I don't like soup because it's like textures in the liquid, and when there's like two different things going on, I'm like, nope, don't like this. Get it out.
Interesting.
And so
That's why I'm not a big fan of like ice cream with nuts in it. I want my soft food to be soft.
Yeah. If I eat ice cream, I can handle sprinkles, but it's better without. Same with yogurt. I need smooth
The devil
yogurt.
made that invention. I think sprinkles on anything ruin it. Donuts, you name it. Sprinkles just... They only add color, in my opinion. I hate sprinkles. I have like a vendetta. Sprinkles and like candy corn. I fucking hate candy corn.
I'm okay
So
with
it's
candy
awful.
corn. Do you ever see the show Kids Next Door?
Yes.
Did you ever see the ice cream episode?
I probably have, but you might have to jog my memory.
So number 5, she really likes ice cream. And she goes to Egypt looking for the lost, sacred, ancient ice cream. But there's this other kid named Hans. They're literally doing like a parody of Indiana Jones, who's also going after the ice cream. And Hans ends up like using number 5, and capturing her so that he can get the ice cream first. And then he puts sprinkles on it, and she's like, "Are you crazy? You can't ruin the sacred ice cream with sprinkles." And he's like, "Sprinkles make everything better." And then he licks it, and I think he like fucking turns into ice cream, which is kind of morbid for a kid's show
Okay.
now that I think about it. But
Yeah. No, that show had some really weird, like, gross out food related stuff. I remember there was, I think, number 2. Wasn't that like the bit of the rotund kid with the hat? I think.
yeah.
There was like a detective episode where the lunch lady was making crumb cake. He like really liked crumb cake, and he was eating it the entire time. But it like didn't revolve around a crumb cake. He was just doing it like
just a little side story that's going on in the background.
Exactly. And it turns out the crumb cake ended up being like eye boogers the whole time.
Was he grossed out, or was
Yeah.
he just like, well, I mean,
he was grossed out, and I think he like started eating it again or something like that.
no.
Like he couldn't stop himself.
Oh god, that's the worst. So Japanese jail, they give you bread with butter and milk every morning. That is literally heaven to me. That is literally like all I want in life. Hang on. Bread with butter and milk? That's like...
Japanese jail ate so bad.
What's...
Okay, so
No, we gotta talk about Japanese jail. Because apparently it's like really, really bad. Like, Japanese jail, they have one of the lowest incarceration rates. So if you go to jail, it's like you murdered not just one, but like 2 or 3 plus people. You have to like really be a bad dude to go to Japanese jail. And so their conditions are not good at all. Not that American conditions are good by any means. I'm like super critical of the American jail system, but Japanese jail, it's like you go there, people are like, it's a fucking death sentence. Your life is over if you go there.
Yeah, no. Like, man, if there's one place that you don't want to go to jail is, I think someplace other than your own country.
For
I guess you're in Finland. Apparently in Finland, they are really lenient.
No,
They
so
are super lenient.
So a lot of the European countries have like really fucking, especially the Nordic countries, they have really nice fucking jail systems.
Mhm.
I remember seeing it was either Finland or Switzerland or Sweden, or maybe Norway, where like their jails are literally just a nice apartment, and they're
Yes.
just separated from
Yes.
society. And I remember seeing one story that was like this guy, he had a niece that was having a birthday, so we let him go on, a picnic with his niece. And it was like, hang on,
Wonderful.
isn't this guy in jail? And it's like, well, we could find him if he tried to run for it. But also, if he tried to run for it, he would be back in jail for like another 10, 20 years, right? Like, he's not going to fuck that up when he's like 10 years into his sentence. And so we trust him. And the guy was like, yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not going to fuck this up.
Mhm. I think also Norway jails, if I'm not mistaken, are prisons. I think it's not illegal to try to escape, because apparently it's just like
Human nature.
to want to try to escape from something like that. Yeah.
That's crazy, but
No,
at the
it's
same time, it's like,
pretty
I can see
cool.
the logic of it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about, they're really focused on reform, not like,
Yeah.
incarceration forever.
Yeah, Non-Dairy is saying the same thing. In the U.S., if we can make a business out of it, if we can monetize it, we fucking will. And so we've privatized all of our prisons, and those prisons get paid for the number of people in prison. And so they run it in a way that does not spend money on taking care of those prisoners. They try to fill them way over capacity and just maximize profits. And they will fund a lot of lobbyists to keep those super shitty systems in place. Bites everyone and runs away. Oh my gosh. Somebody catch that wolf. We need to check for rabies.
If you don't mind me changing the subject, I wanted to get
No,
back
go
to
ahead.
what I was going to ask you for your food thing.
Go ahead.
So you have like some crazy ideas about food here and there. How do you like your steak? That's the real question.
Medium rare.
Okay, all right.
If not rare. I like to say the Lord of the Rings quote, "Give it to us raw and wriggling," when I get my steaks.
Rare's fine, as long as you don't like it like blue. No?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a blue steak, but very red, very pink. I'll be like, oh, this is the best steak ever, and people are like, ooh, it's not cooked yet. Here's a super not fun fact I learned about steaks.
All right.
When I was eating with my parents one time, and they had two work friends over. And my dad was like, how do you like your steaks? And they were African American. And the guy goes, brothers like their steaks well done. And I remember, me and my dad were like, what? You like them well done? What? No, that's all the flavor's gone. How could you? Years later, I saw a thing on Reddit. And I don't know, like, for certain if this is true, but it makes sense to me. But it was like, if you've ever seen that black people like their steaks well done, there's a reason for that. And I'm reading this and I'm going, uh-oh. Turns out, before the time of segregation being abolished, they had, whites-only grocery stores and colored grocery stores. And so if you're white, you go to the whites-only store. If you were not white, you went to the everyone else store.
What else?
It wasn't like a white guy owned the whites-only store and a not white guy owned the not white store. A white guy just had two stores because white people owned everything back then. They still kind of do. And so what they would do is they would stock all of their food in the whites-only store. And then when they got new stock, high space, when they got new stock, everything that was left over would go to the other store. So if you got meat at the non-white store, you were getting the meat that wasn't purchased. You were getting literally the leftovers. So a lot of the meat was like close to or past expiration date. So the reason brothers like Well Done Steaks is because when they bought steak back then, they would cook the shit out of it. They would get it to the point of like past well done to burning, because that was what you had to do to make it palatable. And it's like, I remember reading this and just thinking back on that guy going, brothers like Well Done Steaks, and thinking, oh God, this country is fucked up sometimes. And like, I always grew up being like, oh, you know, I know racism exists down in the South, but I never see any racism in the areas I live. But then becoming aware of that, I was like, oh God, it's in fucking everything. Oh God, it's
everywhere.
In fucking everything.
It's everywhere. I think one of the
that was a big wake up call for me.
As a African American myself, I think the worst kind of racist, in my opinion, are the people that like don't even realize they're racist and say racist comments. Like, for example, I got two examples. One of them is when I was a small child, I was always like well spoken growing up. So I went to the nurse one day, and she goes, you know, you're one of those people that speak very well, you know that?
Oh
and
my
like looking
God.
back on it now, I'm like, oh dear, that's not a good thing to say to
So
someone.
like, maybe that could have been to like because you were a kid, but like, oh,
Yeah.
I got one for you. You're one of the good ones.
Oh God. Yeah.
That one's
I've heard that
real
before.
bad.
I don't think anyone said that to me, but I've definitely heard it before. And then I think this one didn't happen to me. It's a funny example though. It's I think Asmongold was telling it. He was like, it's like imagine having like a white friend, and he's in, you know, the black guy's driving, and then the white friend, he puts on like some like rap music, and he like turns to the black friend and goes, "This one's for you. This one's for you. I put this on because of you."
Oh God. So, have you ever heard of Blue Eye Brown Eye? It's
No, I haven't.
So it is a college extra credit course that was run by this teacher who taught I forget what she taught. But basically it was offered as like, you take this one class, it lasts like 8 or 10 hours over summer break, and you get one extra credit course. And what they do is, everybody that signs up, they get sorted before they go into the classroom. So if you're white and have blue eyes, you get a green scarf. And if you don't have blue eyes, you don't get a scarf. They get into the classroom, and there's posters all over the walls that say things like super racist things from back in the 20s, but replacing them with blue eyes. So like, blue eyes should not hold office, or blue eyes shouldn't be able to vote. Stuff like that. And if you have blue eyes, you know, they've counted the people that have signed up for the class that they've given a scarf to. So like, I think in the video, there was like 12 of them. They put 9 desks in the middle. And so they come in and they're like, if you have a green scarf, you sit in the middle. If you don't have a green scarf, you sit on the desks around the outside. So it really like alienates them and puts them in the middle and has everybody staring at them, right? But 12 there's 12 people with scarves and blue eyes and 9 seats. And so they're like, there's not enough seats. And the teacher just goes, oh my God, do I have to do everything for you? Then sit on the ground. Jesus. And she just treats them literally like just super racist against these people with blue eyes for like an hour into class. And immediately some of them pick up on it, and they're just like, oh, she's given the white people the treatment that a lot of us have gotten. Because everybody around the edge is like not white, right? Or they're white, but they lucked out and they didn't have blue eyes. It is just 8 hours of just grueling bullying towards
like 8 hours straight.
8 hours straight. And like she'll break character and be like, this is what it was like in the 20s. This is what it was like in the 40s. This is what happens to them today still. And she'll ask people around the edge, like, has anyone ever said to you, you're one of the good ones? And like this black girl's just like, oh my god, yes. And it was like, was that unsettling when she said it? Like, it probably was like, oh, thanks for the compliment. Wait a minute, that's not a fucking compliment. What are you saying about all of, my people? What the fuck? And it was like,
Right.
it was this teacher, she used to teach in like the 50s, and like she had her eyes open through some experience and really, really like harped on equality and like showing people. She believed that empathy was like the way to teach people, and so she wanted the people who would be the oppressors in these situations, she wanted them to know what it was like. And she would ask the people around the edges, like, do you feel sorry for them? And they'd be like, no, this is make-believe. I've been having this for 25 years. Of course I don't feel fucking sorry for this. But like the kids in the middle, they're like, it feels pretty bad right now. This is definitely eye-opening. I remember one girl, she just leaves. She's just crying, and she's like, you can't treat us like this. And she's like, grow the fuck up, bitch. And the girl leaves, and she comes back, and she's like, you're wrong for treating us like this. And she's like, do you not get the fucking point of this? Like, it's a really good watch. It's like the video is 2 hours long. It is grueling. I think about like, because I'm as white as you can be. I think about if I was in that situation. I mean, for one, that'd be my eye opener. But two, it'd just be like, oh man, I don't. It's hard. It's Blue Eye, Brown Eye. That's the video.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and like a lot of
Very
people.
interesting stuff.
A lot of people hate this teacher. She's since retired. I think she's been retired for like 10 years or something. But obviously, a lot of white people fucking hate her because there's a lot of racist white people out there who don't fucking get. Like, all lives matter, right? When you say Black Lives Matter, the example that makes sense to me is you've got a cul-de-sac and a house is on fire. That house needs help. It needs attention right there. So the fire trucks come and they're trying to save that house. It's fucking weird for somebody 3 houses down to come up to the fire department and be like, well, what about my house? Don't all the houses matter?
Right.
And it's like, no, you fucking loser. This one's on fire. But there's a lot of people like that, right? They're like, all lives matter. Why are they getting special attention? It's like, because they fucking need it.
Yeah. We got a ways to go as a society.
My
ways
God,
to go.
we have a ways to go, and then something happens that like sets us back. That's just like, why? Like, fucking, I hate pretty much every Democrat, but like the fucking Republicans, fucking Trump, dear God, that was just so empowering to so many of just the worst groups.
It was.
Welcome back, Aeon.
Hello.
You came back to a fucking topic.
I'm just like, Yeah, I got it. So it's you'll know how we feel, but you gotta learn through that. Of the difference. The moment I was like, wait, what is this? Is this like class that you'll?
Yeah.
Wait, is he only given the history? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Oh. Here's something that, like, so I realized that steak thing was kind of eye-opening for me. Another one that I thought back on that was like, oh God. I went to a private Christian school. We had a graduating class of 60. And of the 30 boys, there was one black student. His name was Kiel. Very smart, straight A student. I think his father was really, really strict and hard on him. I think his father was like, you're going to get straight A's. You're also going to go to karate practice. Kiel, everybody knew he was a black belt. And, like, I don't know if Kiel was, like, just introducing himself as, like, hey, I'm Kiel, I have a black belt. Or if he, like, threw it out a few times and everybody kind of just spread it themselves. But everybody knew Kiel took karate, and he had a black belt. And every now and then he'd show it off. I remember him kicking a light in the locker room once. I look back at that and I'm like, I don't know if Kiel liked karate, or if his dad was just like, you were going to be able to defend yourself because you're going to a skid full of preppy rich white kids. And so at the time I probably would have thought just like, oh, cool, Kiel likes karate. And now I'm like, that was probably his father making sure he could defend himself. And it's just thinking on like just little things like that in my life is just like, oh, it's so, I hate how blind to it I was, but I hate that I still like it.
Live and learn. Live and learn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, how many miles? Yeah, I missed it.
How many miles? Oh.
Let's see. Also me. Alright, time to just do this, and click. There we go. Oh.
I didn't unmute myself. Rip.
Yeah.
What non-dairy said about their dad being like,
Non-dairy.
he knew I was trans, so he made sure I was in Kung Fu. On one hand, that's really fucking cool. On the other hand, I don't know, like, non-dairy probably didn't want to do Kung Fu because they were like, no, I want to do other stuff, but, that's, hi, Zai. I don't know, from what I know of your dad's story, I'm like, oh, that's cool, that's cool.
I also would like to think that you don't become a black belt without at least, liking what you're doing. So, you probably, liked a little bit what he's doing.
I mean, so I'd hope so, right? I hope it was something that he found joy of. I never knew Kiel that well. He was one of those kids that, like, I started going to the school in 4th grade, and I went till 12th, and he was there. He either started 5th grade or before me. I don't really remember. Okay, that non-dairy, that fucking triggered some shit in my childhood, because my dad wanted to make sure that I was really good at public speaking. And so anytime I would like in 4th grade, we had to like present this speech, and I remember taking the speech of this like story that had some moral at the end of it. And I remember going through it, and he'd be like, one more time. And I'd be like, oh, but you said one more time last time. Well, I mean it this time, one more time. And then I'd go through, and he's like, well, you made a mistake here and here, so one more time. And I remember hearing one more time like 50 fucking times and like literally hating him for it. Although kind of funny, the way this worked was there were 4 classes in every grade. And you would present your speech. That would the winner of each class would then present in front of the chapel, in front of the whole like elementary. Well, I think it was like you presented, and then you went by, each class went by grade, and then at chapel, the best of each grade would go to like perform nationally, I think. And I won for my class. Like, I was by far the best for my class because of how much my dad forced me to practice. And the teacher was like, "Congratulations, Euland. You get to present in front of the chapel now." I was like, "I'm not doing that." "What? The assignment was just to present in front of the class. I don't want to present in front of the whole chapel." And she's like, "What? I don't understand. You seem so enthusiastic about this. Wouldn't you want to?" I was like, No, I hate this. I literally never want to do this again. I'm not presenting." And so she was like, she was confused, right? But she was like, "Okay, yeah, if you don't want to, you don't have to." And then like my dad found out a month later, because of course I didn't tell him, right? And I told him, like, "Yeah, I actually won best of the class." He's like, "That's awesome. Did you win anything?" And they're like, "Well, they wanted me to present in front of the chapel, and if I won there, I would have like presented nationally." And he's like, "What? When did you do that?" And I was like, I didn't want to." And he was just like, I remember him getting up from the kitchen table and like pacing through the kitchen like, "What is wrong with my son? Why would he throw that away?" And I was just like, "Dude, no. I hate that. Why would I want that? What are you, crazy? Extra homework? No." Although I went on to like high school and college where it was like, "Okay, you have to present this to the class." And it was like, in college, it was really funny because there would be the younger generation of students, fresh out of high school, that were like the worst speaking skills ever, but their projects were really cool. The like information in their projects were cool. Then you had the older generation of students who were like, they'd gone and done, a job and come back to school, and they were great speakers. But like, some of their projects were just unfinished because they didn't understand what they were talking about. They were just like, "I gotta present something," and so like, they're presenting just half-assed, broken data. And then there was me, like the perfect middle ground that had good data and good presentation skills. And I was just like, I hate that shitty thing my dad made me do is paying off and making me look great now. Damn it.
And still shows today. At this very moment.
I don't know how much of it transitions over. With public speaking, a lot of it is body language, right? A lot of it is controlling what you say, being able to flow through talking points, being able to look at people.
Which you do very well.
I struggle with talking points sometimes. Yesterday, I was definitely having trouble. Oh, God. To talk more about public speaking, when I went on to my second degree, I had to do essentially an internship, a work study class. And I worked for a neighboring college to provide like sustainability maps for them so that they could better track what students in what areas they should be marketing to get students to come to their college. And I remember, I made these maps, and then the person overseeing me was like, "Oh, we need you to present these, by the way." And I was like, not super happy about this being like kind of thrust on me in 3 weeks, but sure, yeah, I can do that. And the day before, I'm practicing my presentation. She's like, "Are you nervous?" And I was like, "No, why would I be nervous?" And she was like, "Oh, well, it's just the board of administrators for the school. I just thought you might be nervous." I was like, who's on the board of administrators? And she's like, "Oh, you didn't, oh, I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "Who's on the board of administrators?" And she's like, "Okay, well, the president of the school." And this is like a big college that like 50,000 students go to. the CEO of this multi-billion energy company, the CFO of this company,
Jeez.
the CEO of this other company, the president of this school, the head administrator of this other school, and I was just like,
Oh my
what?
goodness.
What are you talking about? You didn't tell me until literally 8 p.m. the night before? And so, hi, Sen. I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm like, I literally didn't sleep that night because I was just so panicky. I kept practicing. And when I went there, it was me and another student presenting. The other student was just like, I'm smart and here on a scholarship and here's a project I plan to work on. But her presentation, like, kinda sucked. But it was like, hey, she's smart, but like she went first and everybody was like, wow, great presentation, that's really great, And then I go up and I present these 10 maps that I've made for like 10 minutes, and they were just like, holy shit, this is the key to the future, and they're like all asking these questions, which I have all the answers to because I made these maps, right? And there's like one or two questions that are like, would you be able to get this? And I was like, I don't actually know if that's available, but it is, something we can readily check for. And so they were like, this is the coolest thing ever. What the president of the school ended up being like, dude, if you want to work here, I got a job for you. And my dumbass is so oblivious sometimes. I was like, cool, he's gonna like send me an email or something. I was supposed to talk to him. And I just never sent him anything. And I was like, man, that job would have been nice. And then like a year later, I realized I was supposed to message him. I'm dumb. But the presentation went great. They thought it was amazing. And I remember my supervisor was like, holy shit, that was way better than I thought you were going to do. I was like, I've got practice. I'm going to bed now. I'm literally driving home at 1 p.m. and going to bed because I didn't sleep last night. Just a little more. I think we're like 5 to 7 minutes away. I need a drink.
Get a nice like sweat on over here.
Enjoyable listening to these stories.
Right?
Nice sweat,
Such a
me
nice
every day.
storyteller.
It's so
I'm always like most engaged whenever he's telling like his stories when he was like a devout Christian, something like that, or his Christian school. That was always so interesting. To me, at least.
I am walking on a powered treadmill. I don't know. I went into the scene like, because I heard somebody say to be a just chatting streamer, you have to have had an interesting life. You can't just sit at a computer playing video games, for your whole life and then go into just chatting and be successful. And I remember hearing that and being like, I can see some truth to that, but at the same time, I feel like I can make some of my WoW stories about hunting a shark for 7 hours and all my friends not talking to me for a week after that pretty damn interesting. Because I've had some shit go down in video games. But then, like, I'm also just realizing that while a lot of my life seemed mundane to me, to a lot of people, they didn't go to a private Christian college. And so they're very unfamiliar with some of the shenanigans, some of the, like, zealotry that is in that environment. And, like, I didn't go to a Catholic school, right? So I didn't have a nun for a teacher that was like, if you write with your left hand, you get hit with a ruler. I didn't go to anything like that, like you see in movies and whatnot. So that's what I compared it to. When I was growing up, I was like, oh, I'm going to the right private Christian school. I'm going to the one that's like for good, normal people, not those crazy ones like a Catholic school. But looking back now, kind of having walked away from the faith, I'm like, nope, there was some shit there. There was definitely some shit there. So, you don't need foot trackers, but you wouldn't see your legs moving
if you don't have trackers, because essentially you'd be standing in the same place. If you want it for streams, trackers would be ideal. You could also just have a walking animation, but I feel like trackers would be the best for it. There's also 3 types of treadmills. There's an omnidirectional treadmill, which is for VR. This is where you're like in a harness, it holds you up, and your feet are in like a bowl. I don't know too much about those. They cost like $1,300. I don't know if that like tracks calories and miles done. I have like a full treadmill with like bars and a console in front of me, which makes tracking more difficult. All of my trackers are on backwards. But it gives me this bar to hang on with my left hand. I always keep my camera a little to the right and behind me so I can hold on to this bar with my left hand, because being in VR on a treadmill, you're fucking blind. And I'm amazed I haven't fallen yet. I've come really close 2 or 3 times. There's also the standing treadmills, which is literally just the treadmill belt without the bars to hang on. Those are for like standing desks. I would be scared to use that with a blindfold on, with a VR headset on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You'd have to like put it next to a wall and have your arm on the wall the whole time.
The only way I would use that was if I had like a handle hanging down from the ceiling or something, or like a doorway. That would be like a good way to use it, or like your desk in front of you to keep your hand on. You need something that's kind of hand level, because like if it's your desk, you don't want to be like fucking bending over to keep your hand there, right?
Right.
It's also, if it's your wall, you're gonna sweat a lot. Eventually, you're just gonna get a big old dirty handprint on your wall. Maybe it's a brick wall, I don't know, but if it's like drywall, you're gonna fucking mess with that wall.
It's gonna get nasty. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, you joke about strapping yourself like a toddler to the ceiling. That would probably be the safest way to do it. It is very not safe for work, not OSHA approved. Even this, with like the bars around me and I have something to hold on to, I don't feel completely safe. I feel totally fine when I'm just like walking forward like this, but if I take a drink or if I look to my left and try to grab my camera, that's when I have the close calls. Yeah, I personally have a really good sense of balance. I've always been able to like walk on a boat that's like tipsy-turvy in water and been like, whoa, whoa, and just not fall. There's some people out there, you know, those people that like, you see the video of somebody getting one of the hoverboards for Christmas and they immediately just fall off and face plant into the ground.
Eat shit. Yeah.
If you know you're not somebody with good balance or you're clumsy, I wouldn't try this. I just wouldn't try this. Something else that's not OSHA approved. This treadmill, it has a magnet on it. So on the console there's a magnet, and then there's this rope that has a magnet, and you put them together. The magnet on the rope then has a clip at the other end of the rope, and you're supposed to clip that to your shirt. That way, if you fall on the treadmill, it will pull the magnet off and stop the treadmill. I have essentially put the magnet on and clipped it to the back of the treadmill so that I don't have to worry about that. But it means if I fall, the treadmill is not going to turn itself off. And I could seriously hurt myself that way. Which is like, really dumb. But I didn't want to like, I turn right and I turn the treadmill off. I'm like, oh shit. If you've got next level balance, maybe try it. Definitely have something to put your hand on. You are not going to be able to stay on a standing treadmill with a VR headset on without something to orient yourself with your hands.
Maybe get like a walking cane or something.
Maybe like
Not
literally.
Really. You don't want that.
No. I think that's a good idea. Not like a one-handed cane, but like the literal walker. That might actually work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I have a pair of New Balance trainers. I'm so awesome. Oh man, we're talking about my school and how fucking crazy some of it was, and I remember I didn't think it was crazy at the time, but I look back on it and this was like the craziest thing. My final year of no, not my final year, my junior year of high school there. Maybe it was the final year. I think it might have been the final year. They had a class called Christian Leaders. And you could only take this class if you were a junior or a senior. But if you took this class, basically, they had some tests and quizzes, but this class was like, you are going to present at chapel one day of the year. And so, for chapel, every Wednesday, all the students would go to the gymnasium. There would be a ton of seats, and we would literally have like a church session for an hour. As a school, as like the entire high school. And I look back on that and I'm like, that alone is kind of weird. But this Christian Leaders course, they were going to present. They were either going to talk about a story from their life that they've learned from and share, or they were going to literally present a Bible verse and talk about that. And it was vetted by the teacher who himself was a pastor. But I remember like, it was not the place of these students to talk about what they did. So one girl, she talked about cutting. She talked about how she had experience with cutting and she had cut herself in the past and why she did it, what it did for her, how it was bad, and why the Lord saved her from it. But I look back on that and I'm like, this is not the place of a junior year high school student to present to 300 students. This is kind of fucked up and weird. And like, I look back on it now and I'm just like, what the fuck was that? How did they okay this? The teacher that taught that class, this guy, he didn't let his son buy Legend of Zelda games because this would support the religion that was advertised in the Legend of Zelda games. And so I remember it was like Twilight Princess came out and I was like, yo, I feel like I shouldn't use her name. Fuck it. Jordan, have you played the new Legend of Zelda game? It's so fucking good. He's like, no, my dad doesn't let me play it. It says, he says the money will support that religion, which is, kind of blasphemous. And I was just like, fucking what religion? What? And he's like, there's like one about the 3 goddesses or whatnot. I was like, bro, this is a video game. What? And he was just like, yeah, I don't think it's a real religion, but it's my dad. So I was just like, oh my God. That was the guy that was okaying and teaching this Christian Leaders class and was like signing off on them presenting stuff. I used to slackline and have a video of me online somewhere standing on a Bosu. I need to know you need to explain to me what a Bosu is.
Bosu.
Super useful life skills. I mean, having a good sense of balance, I feel like will help you through everything, right? So that's a pretty true statement. You look back on that and want to off yourself. Yeah. A yoga ball and cut it in half. Okay. Oh, one of those things. Okay.
Oh, those. Yeah, okay.
Big half sphere. Gotcha. There it is. There's the portal. There's the current raid that I'm going to literally tonight to get fucking fed on my shaman. 6.2 miles.
You ever play any instruments growing up, Ewan?
I did. When I was in elementary, I wanted to play the drums. So I got a snare drum, I got a drum kit, and I took drum lessons. When it was time for the marching band at school, I was in 4th grade, and so the 5th graders got to do the snare drums. And that left the big bass drum, the cowbell, and the tambourine for the 4th graders. So the big drum went to the big 4th grader, and I got the tambourine. And so 5th grade marching band, apparently there was a lot of 5th graders that year, because I got the fucking cowbell. And so I had a kind of abusive drum teacher. I remember we'd go to take lessons, but he was very condescending. He was very, like, the type of teacher's like, wow, I can tell you didn't practice because you sound like shit today. And it's like, okay, sorry, kind of did practice.
Go, not quite my tempo.
I think he might have. I literally think he might have done that. I remember
Whiplash reference.
I quit the drums. Where's my mouse? Oh, it actually brought us to a Guild Wars video. This is the one I recorded literally last night. And don't lose tracking. I'm tired. That was elementary. This guy kind of drove me to, like, fucking quit. Because it was just so... God, it was just... He made playing an instrument so unfun. And keeps losing.
A big part of teaching is just, like, keeping it, like, fun and engaging.
Oh, do I have a fucking story on that? I think I've told it on stream before.
So many teachers terrible at doing that.
In high school, so after 5th grade, I stopped playing the drums. Oh, I need to flip my trackers. I stopped playing the drums. We had literally, like, dedicated the guest room to my drum kit, and I only did it for 2 years. I think a big part of it was that in 5th grade, my best friend, he was, like, really good with trumpet, practiced it a lot. In 5th grade, he had a stroke, and so he wasn't, like, in school for a while. Obviously, because he had a fucking stroke as a 5th grader. So without him, it was like, I don't really care about staying in music class. And so, I think I just dropped it. My parents were like, you have to have an extracurricular activity, though. And so I played tennis for a long time. Until it was, like, freshman year of high school, where I was like, guys, I just don't want to fucking play tennis. Can bass count as an extracurricular? Can I take bass lessons? And my dad was like, no. And my mom was like, yeah, sure. And they looked at each other, and he was like, really? You're gonna let him not do a sport? And she was like, the rule is an extracurricular. And he was like, oh. Because my dad really wanted me to do a sport. But he hadn't worded it right, and so Mom okayed on it being bass guitar, and so I started taking bass lessons for, I think, 2, maybe 3 years. And I never really cared about it. I was just happy to not be playing tennis. And senior year, I was just like, I don't want to play bass guitar anymore. And they're like, okay, what are you gonna do for your extracurricular? I'll find something. Never found anything. I just wanted to play World of Warcraft. What time is it? 12 on the dot?
Damn, it is.
We're going to Starry Sphere. Aeon.
Yeah.
We're going in the portal. I love this world. I love every Wispy world. we are gonna go... Is this the top one? No, there's stairs. Or a ladder, I should say. We're going back down. Yeah, here. Okay. I grab this. I grab this. Come over here. Shoes off. Oh, I gotta... We gotta sit weird and prop our legs up for lactic acid. Ugh. I'm in the bottom level, you two. Okay. I think this is the space I almost brought to be my homeworld. Still might. Thank you, space. Oh no. I didn't update the title. I forgore. I can do it from VR. Nope. Nope, I'm already messing it up. Set tile. Day 48 of walking. Do you guys hear the little clips of me typing in XS Overlay? I think it was 6.2 miles. We're gonna put 6.2 miles. Oh. And now we rest. It is a good sound. Okay. Let me bring this down. I forgot to move my pillow over to the beanbag before stream. Oh well. You been here before, Aeon?
Nope. First time being here.
Yeah, neither have I. Very nice.
This map maker, Wispy-Woo, they just make comfy worlds. That's just what they do. And so every world is just like a different environment. They've got this one in space. They've got we saw one yesterday that was in like a snow cabin. My home world is their cove world of this. It's like literally just a cove at a beach. And I'm like addicted to these worlds. Today is a busy day, Lost One. It is a WoW reset day. Yeah, it's a Divinity day and also a WoW day. I'm going to try and do productive stuff before those two things, but where is Smug? I don't see Smug. Oh,
Right here. Hey there.
I see. I thought that was Aeon. I was like, oh, Aeon switched to that.
What? No.
I'm.
Oh, careful.
I was going off my
Streamlabs. I see. Hmm. This avatar got some work done on it yesterday, and Shinkozen streamed it. So now it has a scarf. Oh god damn it! It also has something else that I haven't set up yet. Used to endgame raid WoW. So with raiding in WoW, it's super like annoying, and certainly like the people that raid in WoW is one of the worst communities. However, I have found a really comfy guild that raids. I met most of them through VR chat. And so a lot of them like doing Mythic Plus. I literally show up every Tuesday. Every Tuesday I show up, we raid, and it's like the condensed version of just the fun part of raiding and not the rest of the bullshit in WoW for me. And I am super down for that because I do like WoW. Despite as much as Blizzard is trying to make me dislike WoW in all of their games, WoW will just... It's always going to have that place in my heart after 18 years. It's getting... Oh god. It's getting close to 20. It's almost at 19. It's like 1 or 2 months away. But those pockets of like, this is a good way to play WoW, they do exist. But just going into it like alone, I wouldn't. Yeah, so for our group, the guy who made the guild, his name was Demipred. He made the group, and then he was collecting everybody's like time schedules and like who was available at what time. And he's like, oh, the way for the most people to play is for me not to play, and for them to raid at a time that doesn't work for me. So the guy who set up the guild and raid time isn't able to raid with us. I think he might have realized the time investment and found a way to like excuse himself. And so for the rest of us, it doesn't feel like we have a raid leader. We kind of just, one of us makes the group, and it's never me. It's one of these 4 or 5 people. One of them makes the group, starts inviting people from the raid finder, because unfortunately we don't have a full team. We get a few pugs, and then we just go and clear heroic. We're not doing mythic because that's too much effort. I think some of them want to, but none of them are like willing to put the time in or the headache in of dealing with mythic raiders. So everybody's kind of like, we're content with heroic. It's time to hang with the boys. They're also certainly a group that really likes mythic dungeons. I think most of them like mythic dungeons more than raiding. Man, I'll tell you what, propping my legs up like this has me like laying back, and it makes it way easier to just close my eyes and fall asleep. And it's like, oh no, I can't sleep on stream.
Yeah, you do look real comfortable. What are you like laying on?
I
heard something about a beanbag. I
have a massive beanbag. It is like 7 feet diameter. This thing is ginormous, and I fall asleep in it all the time. I can never stay asleep in it, and when I do, it kind of crunches my back, and I'm like, oh god, I regret. But in the moment when I'm falling asleep in it, especially if I fall asleep in it stomach down, which is harder in VR, but this thing is just so comfy.
Um, if I'm ever doing something in VR where I'm just like hanging out, like watching food videos or just chilling with people, or after stream like this, I'm in the beanbag every time. Yeah, it's
Right now, I'm just on my floor.
I used to I have a Japanese futon, so it's a bed that's like 2 to 3 inches thick.
Mhm.
I used to move that next to my computer and lay on that in VR, but I have a really firm pillow, and so it just doesn't work with my headset. It feels like I'm like pushing my head way up at an angle when laying down on it. Yeah. Yeah, so loot has definitely changed in WoW now. They like to have, they went through a period where all the raids were personal loot. And as a whole, people hate it. So now you like roll on stuff, and it's got a need greed transmog system, and you can't roll on things if you have something higher level. It's kind of limiting, but it reduces fights, I guess. I think you can switch it to master loot. Back in the day, though, especially like vanilla WoW, where you had 40 people show up to a raid and a boss dropped 2 pieces of loot, and you'd go weeks before getting an upgrade. Fuck that. I played in Classic WoW. I hit max level 2 weeks before the Burning Crusade dropped. And I remember, a couple of years ago when they're like, "Oh, they're bringing back Classic WoW. Euland, are you gonna play it?" And I was like, "No, fuck, no, absolutely not. I have self-respect. I'm not gonna no." I'm happy for everybody that had fun with it, but man, I just remember so many things from Classic, and I look at all the quality of life that's in the game now, and it's just like I have zero desire to go back to Classic. I was there. You think it started to go downhill at Burning Crusade? See, most people think Wrath of the Lich King is like the best. I think Legion was the best time. Now, if you're like a hardcore raider and pushing Mythic in the highest tier of content, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of like, this is so hard, this is so much effort. From that perspective, I'm sure you can be like, shit has just been getting more and more complicated, right? For me, just looking at like the state of the game balance, and like how fun it was to be a casual and a Mythic raider, to me, Legion was peak. I look at the innovations of Mythic Dungeons, and like so many people like that. So I do wish they kind of made like old raids more useful. I have a friend who he pops by now and then. He hates it when they add catch-up mechanics, and it just completely invalidates the previous raid. So like, what's an example? I'll just use the current raid. Excuse me. The current raid is Aberrus, and they added a ton of like catch-up loot in the new zone that made it so that the previous raid, Vault of the Incarnates, there's just no point to go in there. You wanna know what's really funny with pandas? Everybody hated them when they were current. Everybody was like, "We're playing fucking Kung Fu Panda," and then that expansion just ended up being kind of good. Like, the final raid was mid, but the first 2 raid tiers were really strong. And then, like, one of the worst expansions ever came after it, and we were all like, Panda Land wasn't that bad. Mists of Pandaria was kind of a good expansion.
Yeah, and that's fair. I certainly made fun of pandas when it came out. I do like monks though. That's one of my favorite classes now. And also, like, the raid tiers were just good. Siege of Orgrimmar was around way too long, and I hate what they did with the story with Garrosh, because I just think Garrosh is a horrible person and annoying. But, like, the first raid tier of pandas was 3 different raids that you jumped between. Can I fully extend this finger? No? There we go. You had the Mogushan Vaults with 6 bosses. You had the Heart of Fear with 4 bosses. And you had, Eternal Springs... No, Heart of Fear had 6 bosses, and Heart of Springs with 4? There was a shit ton of bosses that raid tier. There was, like, 16 bosses to fight. And if you were stuck on one, you could just go to one of the other raids. It was really cool. And then you had the Throne of Thunder raid, which is literally just a top tier raid. Like, right up there with Ulduar. And then after that, you had Siege of Orgrimmar, which was alright. And then it was current content for 16 months, which was like, oh my god. I remember Siege of Orgrimmar came out. I played it for like a month or 2. And then Wildstar came out. And I was like, I've been waiting for Wildstar for years. I'm going to go play this by WoW Guild. I went and go played Wildstar for literally like 8 months or something. Had fun with it for a long time. Quit the game. Came back to the WoW Guild. They were still in Siege of Orgrimmar. Because that was the current content. And I was just like, oh my god. This game hasn't changed in a fucking year. How is that possible? I'm tired. I like kind of interrupted my sleep to wake up. I got enough sleep, but like I woke up to an alarm instead of naturally waking up. And now I'm like, I could easily fall asleep. Easily. Hello, tired. Hello, Ramus.
No.
Welcome back.
Yeah. I had to close VR chat for a moment.
Alright. I think I've propped my legs up enough.
Meanwhile, me just like, I'm lying down now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna pat.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite parts.
Do this.
When I'm like done walking, and then I like lay down like this, and people like pat my head. I'm like, hey, yes. Tell me I did a good job and pat me.
You did a very good job on your 5-mile walk.
Yay. I don't have my faces yet. Oh my god, the entire chat's now giving me pats and saying good boy. Stop, too much. I asked for this. I didn't think I'd actually get it. What time are we at? 12:20? I'm glad I only had problems with my trackers that one day. Or those 2 days. I plugged my trackers in and they didn't charge recently. And so like I was turning them on, I was like, what? No!
I feel like I'd say do a double take on see if they are full charged at times.
What I need to do is like make sure they're charged. I need to like I need to plug them in and then like check them after when I unplug them. But usually I just unplug them, and for some reason unplugging them turns on SteamVR.
And that then I just close it, but I need to like check their charge then. Oh yeah, so I said Shin worked on this model the other day, or yesterday. He added a scarf, so now I have a scarf when we're going through snow zones. I'm too comfy. I am absolutely too comfy right now.
Alright, sleep stream, let's go.
No.
Shh, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
I snore way too much for sleep streams.
Aww.
I fucking saw
That's
vlogs when I
adorable.
snore.
Good, it means you're in a good deep sleep.
No, it means I'm overweight.
You'll be fine.
Maybe someday. Maybe someday. For now, we walk, and then we chill after. True non-dairy.
Alright, I'm gonna just send this to you in DMs, Yulin. Also, it's almost been 3 years, by the way, since I last DM'd you. Was that
Oh my
weird
god.
guy? Yes. All I know is it was that guy with the shaders from Bleach.
I'm like,
And I remember the conversation exactly.
I
It was
don't
about
remember
One
it all.
Piece person. I remember it, and I have a good memory.
I
I'm
have
just
a
gonna
feeling
send these
once
to
I
you in
see
DMs,
it, I'll remember
and
it.
you're gonna like them. It was about how the serious looking guy has the
I think his name's Pika.
yeah, and then I was like, oh wait, there's that one guy in Bleach who also has that, and never really talks that much. And then I just sent you the YouTube video of it. And
Have
anyways,
you seen the One Piece
Yes.
live action?
never even watched One Piece in all these years.
Well, this might be your way to get into it.
I'm at 589.
Hold on. You're not into One Piece, but you've watched 589 episodes?
I'm not into watching One Piece, but I'll watch it nonetheless, is how I go.
That is an interesting take, Aeon. I feel like with One Piece, if you watch through Arlong Park, you have an idea of whether you're going to be into it or not, and whether you should continue. But 589, just, I'll watch it, I guess, but no. I'm not into it.
It's pretty good.
See, that's what I would expect.
There.
I got to like episode 900, and I can't watch it now. I kind of keep up through clips on YouTube, but like, it's so hard for me to just sit down and watch an episode.
That's why you always have a buddy to watch it with you at times.
Even then, because I've tried watching anime with people, but like, the schedules just get in the way and it falls apart. It just feels like it's so much easier to watch Twitch, or if there's an anime I really want to see that's like 12 episodes, I can just get through it really quick. Like, I saw the solo on Bocchi the Rock, and that made me like really want to
Never
see.
saw.
Oh, it's so good. I saw the guitar solo.
I saw some memes.
And binge that series. The guitar solo from episode 8 was so fucking good. And once I saw that, I was like, I gotta see this whole thing. I gotta watch all of it.
Where did Smug go? Smug still here? No, he didn't make. Well,
You're-
he was here briefly, so he. Oh, I wonder if he had to go live.
Unsure.
If he did, he's preparing. He's not live yet. Yeah. I think I'm going to end stream. It's about 12:30. Good time to eat. Good time to wrap up. I'm not going to leave the world. I might like lay down and talk to you a bit more and actually fall asleep. But for stream,
Bah.
we're going to end. Where am I in my room?
Mm-hmm.
Here. Try to find something cool for chat to look at.
Opening airlock.
I mean, maybe? For real, for real. Is there anything particular that looks cool to look at? Kind of this beam thing. Ooh, no, I like that. Yeah. Okay. Now I grab this thing, and I come over here. Thank you everybody for keeping me company. Let's find somebody to raid. Who is live?
Yolan streaming VRC on Twitch.
I am. Oh my god, no. The fuck is Gun Valkyrie? We are going to raid Wagyu. She's playing Final Fantasy. Oh. What? Wait, what? Wagyu! I'm literally typing in raid Wagyumi. Oh my god. I can't believe you've done this. Well, okay. The counter raid. I can't believe you've done this. Alright. Go enjoy food, Wagyu. Unfortunately... Okay, we'll wait for Wagyu to come back. No, yes, I can. I can absolutely leave. Did I leave the camera? Oh. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. Wagyu, are you through with ads? I was literally typing in /raid Wagyumi. We were gonna go watch Final Fantasy. I cannot believe this. How dare. How dare. We're gonna take your raiders and we're gonna go to Proxy Zero. Proxy Zero is playing Uma Musume. I am very excited for when you join. You don't need a treadmill, you goofball. I just really want to hang out with you.
No, it's all good. I very much appreciate the raid. But yeah, go eat, go eat. I'm gonna send all of your chat, all of your lovelies to Proxy. Proxy will take care of both of our communities. That's where we're going. I love you, Wagyu. Go eat, go eat. If I switch back to the pin. Oh. Yeah, okay. I cannot believe this. Slash raid. Proxy 0. Oh, I forgot the slash apparently. There we go. Okay. Thank you everybody for keeping me company. We did 6.2 miles, I think. We're gonna go race horses with Proxy. Thank you for keeping me company. I love you. Bye.